विनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्य शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिणि दिथिश्रुतरोषिणि दुर्मथतोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते
Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. We are back with our audience interaction stream today after a long time. So I will put the link for this stream in the chat, and I'll pin it later on. But before that, we have some other topics that I need to get into. Let me see the comment section. Bitter Bananas is saying, "What in the Wojak is the thumbnail?" That is my picture from 10 or 11 years back. Rwan Shatra, good evening. Vic London is saying this song is nice. What is it? The song is Aigiri Nandini, an ancient shloka, a chant for the creation goddess energy. That at the peak of his communism. Yeah, I was pretty much at the peak. Actually, I peaked even later, I think. Okay, so there are two things I want to get to other than audience interactions. Depends on how many people want to interact. But the mood of discussion will be, of course, the elections. So exit polls are in. It seems that BJP, Narendra Modi, NDA are going to be in power. All polls seem to be saying so. Let's see if something like Donald Trump's victory happens or not, where everyone was saying something will happen and then the 180-degree opposite happens. Maybe not. Let's see. But the interesting part is that the post-poll violence is going on in West Bengal. Well, much less in numbers, as lesser than usual. So far, just one person has gotten killed because of post-poll violence in Bengal. That is a very, very low number. I think it's a huge moral victory for all Bengalis that only one person got killed in this post-poll violence. Although nowhere else anyone got killed. And even that guy is Muslim. He joined BJP right before the elections. So apparently someone took out a revenge on him. Okay, S. Raul is saying, I had predicted 27 plus. Meera Tripathi is saying 2022. Yeah. The polls you are all saying that 21 at least, 21 to 22 at least. Then it can go up till 25, 27 or something. Okay. Now, for many a day now, some viewers, including Meera Tripathi here, has been saying that we need to discuss Beer Biceps interview with Subramanian Swamy. There he had made some predictions about what will happen if BJP comes to power. So let's see what he says in this interview. And before that, I want to get to 10-15 minute portion of a Kushal Mehra interview that he recently did with a pretty old journalist. He's, by old I mean senior journalist, 51 years old. The discussion I thought was very nothing significant. Kushal Mehra has much more fruitful and significant discussions with many other people on his podcast, even where he has been invited also. He has had many intelligent podcasts. I think this was a little overhyped according to me, because I thought, wow, such a beautiful thumbnail, and it's a 5.5 hour podcast. And people seem to be taking this host's name with a lot of respect. So I thought, maybe something really significant is going on here. Maybe something significant I had missed about this channel, because that channel only has audio podcasts. They don't go into useless video business, but a really high quality, well produced microphones, very brilliant mix, okay, in the audio quality, and lots of podcasts on that channel. with over 4.5 hour, 5 hour long conversations. Okay, I don't remember the guy's name, but Kushal went to this person's podcast. There, I checked it out pretty much. I forwarded some sentences here and there, but I checked it out more or less. My notion is that all the conversations I've had with my commie friends ever since the time I was in like first year or second year in college, this conversation with Kushal was lesser in intelligence and later lesser in IQ quotient than those conversations with my commie friends. Okay, it was a very useless, boring conversation, and I think all that guy has is great English language, grammar sense, and great pronunciation, etc. That might have been what you could get away with in the previous generation with just great English. You can't probably, hopefully, get away with it now. And he used to be apparently a journalist in Rock Street Journal as well, which is sort of the only, pretty much the only magazine rock and metal fans in India look to for some promotion of their bands and overall some news of the internet of the national rock and metal scene. And that's where I found out Kushal Mehra was also a drummer apparently. It was a very stupid interview, but one of our regular viewers, Abhay Agarwal, he recommended that we discuss a 10-minute portion of that interview. That's what we are going to listen to. It's 55-minute onwards, then 10-15 minutes. Okay, there Kushal made some interesting I think arguments about Muslims. I don't know what exactly the topic was, but we'll get to that, and then we'll get to Beer Biceps and Subramanian Swamy, and also if other people want to join. Okay, as Rahul is saying, but still BJP will do exceptionally well in West Bengal. Amit Verma, right? Lokavia is saying, I was just watching your live stream on Savarkar 1857 book. I was assuming, do you believe that it was a war of independence or just jihad? And did Savarkar correct his ahistorical hope for the Muslim? Listen, whatever his views on Muslims, that to changed. Okay, that much is clear. But whether he changed his views specifically on the revolt of 1857 or not, that I'm not clear about. But the one problem I keep finding myself in repeatedly whenever discussing revolt of 1857 is that I find both views on both sides of the political aisle as well, not really both sides of the political aisle, but even on this side, on the non-left side, whom I do trust, some people sometimes say revolt of 1857 was just a jihad for the Muslims who took part, and it was a merely coincidence that they were friends with Hindus and tried to overthrow the Muslim government, I mean the British government. And some people say no, the feeling was genuine and people really wanted to rally behind Bahadur Shah Zafar and throw out the British. So I don't know. And if a question in history which is not that important today, but is I have to go on stumbling upon new points, I lose interest in it. So right now I don't give a shit about it anymore. All I know is Sir Syed Ahmed Khan was very angry with the Muslims for joining hands with the Hindus. That is all I can say to anyone who is 100% sure that it was definitely a jihad. If it was definitely a jihad, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan would be much happier about it. But also, one might say that Sir Syed Ahmed Khan pretended to be not happy about it simply because that revolt did not succeed. Okay, but I'm reading a much better book to discuss these things now, which for which I will recommend this book, Dr. Shomode's book. Okay, it's called The Seedbed of Pakistan. So those of you who have read India, Bharat, Pakistan by J. Deepak and who have read Venkat Dhulipala's book, or who have listened to our live stream of the papers by Venkat Dhulipala, here some of the things you find out from this book will be pretty similar. Okay, it's not like you are going to find out about some insane incident in every page, but the way he has looked at this problem is very very cerebral. Okay, almost sociological, almost psychological, but very subtle, and a brilliant work in analysis this book has been. It's not so much of an information book. This is an analysis book. So, and it has come out from the Vitasta publications. I have nothing against Vitasta, but they are not like a mainstream legit academic resource of a publication, right? Anujdhar's book also came out from Conundrum, came from Vitasta publication, but I think Dr. Shomode deserves much more recognition. His work, the kind of a legit historian he is, he has a PhD from JNU and stuff. His book should be coming out from even the most mainstream, biggest historical analysis and publication works. Okay, from those sorts of houses, but it doesn't, unfortunately. So do buy this book so that publishers get the hint all around that yes, it's important. He's an important author. Okay, Ambedkar said 1857 was basically a jihad. There you see. so many other viewpoints from so many other people. So now Savarkar is saying it was not a jihad. Ambedkar is saying it was a jihad. So Ambedkar was always further right of Savarkar. Okay. Now let's get to that podcast by Kushal. Okay. The best part about streaming from StreamYard is that my screen is not all the time visible. Anything I used to drag in front of my face used to be visible on the screen earlier on. Okay, so let's cast this share screen. Let's go to Kushal Mehra. I'll bring Kushal on my channel when I'm done reading his book, because that's the minimum he expects out of his viewers, I guess. Out of his hosts. So after that, so let's see what was discussed here.
I mean, I know Michael Shermer is right that otherwise smart people are also very smart at justifying their own bullshit. So I know that could be happening with me and my brother and all of us also. I'm not saying, oh, I am above all of that. Please do not misunderstand that. But I think with him, that's how he thinks. I think when he makes a proposition, right? He's like, ye hoga, ye hoga, ye hoga, ye hoga. So
Our viewer asked us to watch it from 55-minute onwards. Okay, so let's see what the premise was.
that kind of a thing. And I am the first one to admit, I'll put up a hand in a conference and say, भाई क्या बोल रहे हो, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. हाँ, quantum world है, ये है और नहीं भी है. अरे दोनों क्यों है? मतलब वो थोड़ा समझने को बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स लगता है.
I'll put my hand up with yours, so it's okay. Yeah, I don't get that stuff.
या वो नहीं समझ में आता. हाँ, मेरे फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल्स बहुत क्लियर है कि मेरे को आर्गुमेंट ब्रेक डाउन करना बहुत अच्छे से आता है. That is ingrained in me through I think Indian epistemology and both Socratic method, both. And which is why I find the Occidentalism rising in a section of India so nauseating. And I don't want to divert us there, but just had.
Okay, guys, those of you who don't know what is Occidentalism. Occidentalism is the idea that everything Western is bad, and it's done by non-Westerners. Sort of an Eden-ism of the East.
To put my
We'll
jibe.
eventually get there anyway.
No,
So
I want to put that jibe against my society, that a society that keeps talking about Orientalism, and Orientalism exists till some extent, I accept, but the amount of Occidentalism that is creeping in this society, that my ancestors knew everything. नहीं भाई, तेरे ancestors को सब नहीं आता था. तेरे ancestors ने तेरे को humble होना सिखाया था. तुझसे arrogant टुच्चा कोई नहीं है अगर तू वेस्ट से कुछ सीखना नहीं चाहता है. एंड टू योर पॉइंट, एक्चुअली बुल्ले शाह ने तो ये कहा था ना कि मैं एहो ही जानिया कि मैं कुछ नहीं जानिया. Think about the profundity of that thought.
you cannot express anything better than poetry.
मैं एहो ही जानिया कि मैं कुछ नहीं जानिया. ये बोलने के लिए कितनी हिम्मत चाहिए. और यहाँ से होता है.
This sounds like there's a place called Tank in Presidency College. This sounds like a stoner discussion on top of a Presidency College tank.
So I think that's how my brother breaks it down. Like, because I know that's the only way all of us break it down. It's impossible that, and because I've asked this question to others, I never have these conversations with my brother. Beyond the point, हम लोग तो mundane family की बातें करते हैं. It's all that. But all of us break it down like that. That's the only method. How else does, I mean, it's not like my brain functions differently, right? At the end of the day, evolutionary processes work in the same way for all of us. There are just minor tweaks here and there.
Power cut.
And
my power is gone, guys. So anytime my system will shut down, and I will rejoin when the power is back. Great. This is a scathing indictment of Bengal's economy. Oh, another thing that shows how screwed Bengal's economy is was there's a band called Carnival. Okay, they're an Australian progressive rock band. They came to Kolkata in 2014 or 15. Okay, so they back when they came, they performed at a place called Nico Park Lawns. Okay, huge place, gigantic space. People who bought the high-end tickets were in the first half of that field. People who bought the cheaper tickets were at the last section of that field. And during the last 2-3 songs, Carnival vocalist said that, please let them in now. So everyone was allowed inside that first half section with the costlier tickets. Now Carnival is coming back to Kolkata later this month, okay? And this time they are coming to a small it's not shanty, but a very, very small pub, okay? An Australian progressive rock band who is extremely popular in India apparently, who have performed in I think NH7 as well. They are coming for the second time to a city whose state is apparently growing at the rate of 8% to 10%, whose country is also growing at the rate of 8.4%. Now cannot find enough people to watch that show because all those people who watch such bands or listen to such bands are in Delhi, Bombay, Mumbai, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Pune, UK, Europe, and USA, right? So this time around, Carnival will perform in a small, very irritatingly small venue called Five Mad Men, and in that venue, I had seen a sort of an Indian international metal band already called Sky Harbor, and that's how I know it has horrible audio quality because you need proper room treatment, you need proper things on the walls, etc. Okay, none of that is there in that venue. Okay, so it's going to be a lot of loud noise and reflections of audio, and we are not going to be able to hear anything pretty much. Linguist में अपूर्व रामानुजा, okay. हाँ, हिंदू विचारधारा, okay. अलख निरंजन, lol. Stoner discussions like Putin karega, not Putin kar sakta hai. Yeah, so let me put the discussion link here, but first also now go on with Kushal Mehra. My power is not back yet. It will my computer will shut down anytime now.
Looking at the ultimate level, I'm not looking at the proximate level. The problem with society.
Okay, Nisha, Anand is saying Bengal mein polling kaisa hua? Everything went fair and fine. Well, in comparison to the other polls that happened, that this is a miracle what has happened this time. Okay, just like 5 or 6 instances of violence, just one man dying. These are unheard of things in West Bengal politics.
Society is obsessed with the proximate, ignores the ultimate. And by ultimate, I don't mean God. I just mean ultimate evolutionary level. And at the ultimate level, we all break down arguments in a similar way. Some people do it in a more better, more efficient, more refined way because over a period of time, they have kind of finessed that art of breaking things down. Some through the Socratic method, some through Indian methods. And both are equally wonderful in their own way. And I think my brother must be doing it the same way. I actually truly don't know because I never asked him. I just looked at him.
I'll suggest an experiment for you. Why don't you call him on your podcast and do a 3-hour episode with him as if he is a stranger? That'll be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be so hard for me to do that cognitive.
Kushal, and as you said, you are the same. You are exactly the person I expected you to be from watching so many of your episodes and reading your book. But take me back to the formation of this fully formed Kushal. Like as a kid, what kind of kid were you? Because you've grown up in this household where there is a sense of rootedness, as it were. There is religion around. There is also inquisitiveness, imaginative universe.
My power is
I'm
back.
really talking teens and preteens, maybe, not even to the point where you go to college and all. But before that, what are the things that you're interested in and you love and so on and so
I
forth?
only love cricket, man. I was not even reading a book till the age of 16, 17, 18. मैं तो किताबें नहीं पढ़ता, मैं तो क्रिकेट खेलता था यार। मैं कोई बहुत बड़ा कुछ नहीं करता था। मैं सिर्फ go to school, come back, मम्मी खाना देती थी, and all of us cousins would stay around each other. घाटकोपर गरोड़े नगर में हम लोग सब बाजू में 3-4 बिल्डिंग के, I except for this one guy Deepak I said, because Dhiren also while he was in school with me, he was in the other division, so we would meet on and off. वो हमारे को मैं दीपक धीरेन हम लोग मैं कॉलेज में धीरेन के साथ ज्यादा क्लोज हुआ, मगर other than Deepak, my entire life was all my cousins, so I would finish my life.
Rakshit, thank you for asking this question. This actually needs to be given credit to. So see, CRPF people are so qualified. You just put numbers of CRPF people, and then they'll try to prevent any violence they can. How much they are allowed to work, that is the question every time, right? This time, I think the main reason that I'm not trying to seek credit entirely, but we kind of discussed this time about 3-4 months prior to the elections that this time violence will be a lot less because there is not enough hard cash to pay your gundas. Okay, no one does this stuff for free, right? So much cash got caught up with ED that they could not hire enough gundas to beat people up. Okay, and this fact that just one person from BJP has gotten killed and he is a Muslim, that shows you that is almost proportional to the amount of cash seized versus the proportion in the decrease of violence. Okay, it's almost proportional. Okay, And the other thing is that the people who could have been the masterminds of these violences, they were already caught anyway. Okay, like people like Anubrata Mandal and stuff. So there was efficient planning.
लंच, गो प्ले क्रिकेट बॉस, और कुछ नहीं किया हमने लाइफ में. हमने कोई झंडे नहीं गाड़े. हमने सिर्फ क्रिकेट खेली है, तेंदुलकर को देखा है. तेंदुलकर हमारा सब कुछ है, वही हमारे लिए सब कुछ है. बाकी माइक टाइसन को लोगों को मारते हुए देख के एक अलग ही आनंद आता था, और कुछ नहीं है. लिटरली मेरी लाइफ बहुत बड़ी कोई कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है नहीं. मेरे बचपन में यही था. व्हाट डिड आई एस्पायर टू बी? आई ऑलवेज वांटेड टू बी एन एंटरप्रेन्योर. ऑलवेज, सो क्लियर फ्रॉम डे वन. लाइक व्हेन डैड आस्क्ड बोथ माय ब्रदर एंड आई, माय ब्रदर तूने क्या करना है? मैंने बिल्कुल नहीं करना बिजनेस. सो ही फाउंड हिज ओन वे. तूने क्या करना है? मैंने सिर्फ बिजनेस ही करना. आई वाज वेरी क्लियर फ्रॉम डे वन, बनूंगा तो एंटरप्रेन्योर बनूंगा.
Why do you think this was?
बस खुद करना है, खुद का काम करना है. वन थिंग आई लव द मोस्ट इज फ्रीडम. एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप गिव्स यू फ्रीडम. मुझे सुबह काम करना है, सुबह काम कर सकता हूँ. शाम को काम करना है, शाम को काम कर सकता हूँ. वो फ्रीडम जो है ना, मेरे लिए वो जो फ्रीडम का पैराडाइम है ना, वो सर्वोपरि है. इट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग फॉर मी. फ्रीडम कम्स अबव एवरीथिंग एल्स. So I never had any aspiration that I want to be a scientist, a doctor. I did not want to be Sachin Tendulkar. I just wanted to watch him. I liked watching him. My brother gifted me a drum kit around the age of 17, 18. So I became a very good drummer in a very short time. But then I was such an entrepreneurial brain. And I was like, ये drum बजा के तो कुछ पैसा ही नहीं है, मेरे को नहीं बनना ये. Because I loved making money, boss. Like I was a pakka materialist. I still, I would not say I've lost my materialistic streak. I have reached a point in my life where I know money loses its value. So I have enough now with me that I can live a good life. So now I experiment. अभी हम एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन जोन में आ गए हैं, क्योंकि मुझे अंबानी नहीं बनना है. मगर मैं बुले शाह भी नहीं बनना चाहता था कि मैं फकीर के जैसे रास्ते में घूमूं. नहीं भाई, इतना तो मेरे में नहीं है.
Someone called Ra is commenting here, I think for the first time, but this is a very important point actually. That's why I paused this video to highlight this. This is the most boring Kushal has been for a while. I don't get this. Why did he say yes to this person first and foremost? Like, is he a famous known journalist where he thought he'll spend 5 hours and come out of it thinking that yes, I actually had a constructive conversation? And secondly, how could he sit through this boring 5-hour conversation? That's what I'm also wondering. This is a very irritating conversation. Okay, so when Kushal mentions Indian method, he is referring to Jain syllogism. Okay.
मेरे को अच्छा लगता है एसी और बेड और ये सब.
You can be bullish in a suit podcasting.
Yes, that's all. So I was so clear. मेरा बचपन में कोई हीरो कुछ नहीं, मेरे कोई हीरोज नहीं, कुछ नहीं. मेरे को क्लियर था, I want to be an entrepreneur because it gives you freedom. I like money because I don't know how, but I quickly realized, the one thing I realized in my life is if you have money, most of your problems get solved. That line, money isn't everything, is the biggest lie sold to humanity. It may not give you 100% of solutions, but boy, it gives you 95%. So this is my thought experiment to everyone. 95% of your problems solved, 5% not solved. Which one are you going to take? I pick 95% every time. So I was very clear. I want to be the one.
This dialogue is direct from Wolf of Wall Street.
Thing that makes me make money more. So I loved drumming. I was like, इसमें तो कोई पैसा ही नहीं है. Then I don't like drumming. धंधा और बिजनेस किया, पैसा कमाने के लिए बिजनेस किया. जब वो गोल अटेन हो गया, फिर हाँ, अभी थोड़ा इंटेलेक्चुअल सेटिस्फैक्शन और ये सब, पर वो गोल पहले अटेन करना बहुत जरूरी है. The problem with people is they philosophize too much and they don't work, which is why in my book I pay an ode to Karmane Vadikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana. People chant it, don't live it. I never chant it, I live it. Because when I read Shri Krishna, I was like, ये बंदे में दम है. वो कहता है कि तू कर्म कर, फल पे तेरा अधिकार नहीं है. What does that mean? That don't obsess about the goal, obsess about the action. My goal was I need financial security. So how do I attain financial security? Then if you're a true effective altruist also, the rational thing to do is what? I know Sam Bankman-Friedman had ठोक दिया effective altruism की अपने कारनामों से.
It's become a bit of a cult, no? It's capital letters हो गया.
Yeah, उसने ठोक दिया. Yeah, I know. But the point is that it still makes sense at its core that if your ultimate aim is to be a good person, then you need money, बाबा. भाई आज अंबानी कर पाता है चैरिटी बिकॉज उसके पास चैरिटी करने के लिए है ना, तो पहले वो कर ना, उसके बाद बाकी बात कर. आई थिंक पीपल ऑलवेज आर they always are obsessed about the goal. I am never obsessed about the goal. I am only obsessed about the act of achieving the goal. And for me, the act was financial security,
Okay, Ankit Kumar is saying money is important, but everything will end. So just earning money is not enough. Yes, societally to yes, 100%. But on an individual level, maybe Kushal won't face it because these things, the repercussions of these things happen over 2-3 generations, which USA is finding out today. Overall, societally, Sukhasya Moolam Dharma, Dharmasya Moolam Artha. That is absolutely set in stone, I think. You can't bypass that. USA tried bypassing it. Nahi hua hai, USA gadde mein chala gaya hai. On personal level, you can get away with it for 1 generation, maybe 2 generations. By your 3rd generation, if your Sukhasya is directly Moolam from Artha, your family is screwed. Okay, let me check. A lot less violence in Bengal is still a lot. Yes, yes, of course. Yes. Okay, now let me show you guys what are the news of post-poll violence in Kolkata. Post-poll violence in Kolkata, in West Bengal. You should invite Kushal for a discussion. Yes, I will after I read his book. Okay, check out this news, guys. This is from 6 hours back. Okay, so if anything has happened after that, we don't know of it yet. So West Bengal BJP worker shot, then hacked to death in post-poll violence. Okay, BJP said Hafizur Sheikh was killed because he joined the party from the CPIM ahead of Lok Sabha. So first they were not taking any chances. First they shot him, then hacked him to death. 35-year-old BJP worker was killed by unidentified assailants in the Nodia district of Bengal. Victim Hafizur Sheikh was a resident of Pochachandpur in Kaliganj, and he reportedly joined BJP from CPIM ahead of the elections. According to local sources, Hafizul was playing carom with his neighbors on the side of the national highway when the attackers started firing at him. After being shot, Hafizul was allegedly hacked to death. Abhay saying only money is important, nonsense, without realizing that he has an amazing life because of the family he had. Yeah, uska factory to usne khud nahi banaya hai na. And these sentences sound rude, but I mean it with all humility and basically respect and affection for his parents, whom I don't know, in the way to say that yes, your what your parents did for you, that should be the goal of any parent in the world. So they did a good thing. You should not be blamed for it. Rai is saying, by the way, there was communal tensions in Dhupguri area. Some Muslims allegedly destroyed idols, but it didn't get much traction. I see. Who is winning Jadavpur? This is actually a pretty hard question, at the moment. ISF gave a great fight. ISF is the Indian Secular Front, run by Naushad Siddiqui and his brother something else Siddiqui, Abbas Siddiqui. They are the descendants of the person who started the sect of Islam here in Bengal called Furfura Sharif. It was founded in 1325 or 1375 or something. Okay. There was a Bagdi king who used to rule those lands. He was defeated by these two Muslim brothers. Then all the Baghdis around got converted, which is why you see that most Muslims in Bengal look like tribal people, because most tribals in Bengal got converted. They were not inside the Varna Jati hierarchy to begin with. They were tribal people living outside the Jati Varna system, so they did not convert because of Brahminical patriarchy or oppression. But anyway, that ISF, I think we are hearing it has given a great fight, whatever that means in the Bengal sense, and has taken away a lot of Muslim vote from the Jadavpur constituency, where there's a place called Bhangor, where a person called Sheikh Arabul Islam from Trinamool Congress gained notoriety about 5-6 years back, or maybe a little longer than that, for throwing a jug, water jug, to a teacher in the governing body of the school, where he was also a member in that governing body. A teacher in that school. So that scene was actually shown by now Trinamool MP Raj Chakraborty. I guess he's not an MP anymore. Not going to be an MP anymore after tomorrow. So Raj Chakraborty made a movie called Proloy, which we had discussed in a live stream, a bit of it, and then that part got deleted, of course, or got muted, I think. So Raj Chakraborty made the best movie of his life was Proloy, and he made it directly or indirectly, basically criticizing Trinamool or Trinamool-like politics or Trinamool-like people. Then he joined Trinamool and again got back to making bad films and bad movies. Now he's making one at least watchable series, I think. It's actually a spin-off of the Proloy series. But in Proloy, now this Proloy series is again just normal anti-right sort of a propaganda. I've not watched it that clearly. I've just read reviews of it. But Raj Chakraborty showed that Arabul Islam throwing a jug to the teacher in the school in Proloy. Okay, what a great movie it was, man. And that's why it's actually available up for free, legally free on YouTube. Okay, because no producer is ready to pick it up because it was so critical of, or even indirectly, okay, certainly it was critical of the government. Then they inculcated Purulia's folk cultures and tied that together with a fight against local corruption. Basically, what was done in Kantara, they did that already in Proloy, but nobody saw it. Okay, so who is winning Jadavpur? Yeah, so the question began from there. CPI might just win this. I think if if ISF has taken away enough votes uh, from enough Muslim votes from Trinamool, CPI might end up winning it, Srijan Bhattacharya, or it's Shaini Ghosh. Ankit Kumar is saying, what do you think about effect of Dhruv Rathi and left-leaning YouTube in 2019-2034 elections? I think they are dangerous in long run. What do you mean by dangerous? That would be the question to ask, because otherwise I can't give a clear answer. What do you mean by danger? Dangerous, do you mean they are going to inspire secessionist movements and stuff, or do you mean danger in some other ways? It's needed, he will bust the narrative. Proloy was a very non-Tollywoodish movie of Bengal made by a leftist director by mistake, but ended up being great. No, Proloy was made by Raj Chakraborty. It was not made by a leftist director, unless you are saying that Raj Chakraborty was a leftist back then, which may have been the case. Okay, Ankit Kumar is saying, so he means leftist mindset. Yeah, well, what they say cannot be obviously you can't clamp down on them, but if you handle foreign fundings properly, if your own narrative game is on is strong, is on point, then of course there won't be too much of a problem. I think Dhruv Rathi is New Ravish Kumar. Lol. Bringing back left-leaning parties, they will go on trying. CPIM is going to win at least one this time around, right? Maybe Mohammed Salim, maybe the Jadavpur constituency. They are going to happy about it already. Like yesterday, Tanmay Bhattacharya, an old elderly person, got into a fight with two young Trinamool guys. Already his reels are viral. Your right and freedom comes from others fulfilling their responsibilities. If you don't educate, if yours don't educate you well, you can never have the capability to make free choices. Yeah. Did you go to a music school to be a musician? If not, how did you become a musician professionally? I went to a guitar class ever since I was in class 9. Learned from a teacher for 6 months. Then I fell in love with Indian classical music because of a Pakistani band called Mekal Hassan Band. Then I joined another guitar teacher who was an elderly gentleman who is still alive, and prioritized Indian classical. Now I learned some ragas with him, but mainly it was in the Western way. Okay, notation and playing wise, it was all Western. Of course, I used to play it in a classical way. ऐसा तो मैं करता ही था, but there I learned about 2 years. But my classical was just my personal hobby. I used to like to show off that, see, I did not learn any classical music. I almost never listened to classical music, although I started listening to classical music a lot during my late high school years. But see, even then I can play classical music. And one of my biggest inspirations in this was the guitarist called Shushmit Sen from Indian Ocean. When Shushmit Sen was in Indian Ocean, he is not there in the band anymore, but his playing for some reason got into my hands the most. The player I'm most inspired by, even though it's not like he's my favorite guitarist, or it's not like Indian Ocean is my favorite band, but if I start playing guitar solos, it's going to be mainly Indianish sounding, and it's going to be mainly the influence of Shushmit Sen. And everyone else in India, whenever they do a bit of classical music with non-Indian genres, they usually go to Carnatic route, because Baiju Dharmajan, Prasanna, they have already set the route way for, they've been pioneers already for so many years, right? Not too many people do North Indian classical with rock music, which Shushmit Sen used to do. But anyway, so my priority with my band forever was rock and metal, mainly metal, mainly extreme metal, deathcore, a bit of progressive metal. So by staying in that scene, I just got to know people and make connections. Okay, the people I mainly do music with now, two brothers from my school, they had been to Star Voice of India, then Z Bangla, Saregamapa, etc. So they have their own contacts. I have my contacts from being in that rock and metal music scene, because no one stays in rock metal music scene forever, right? Especially if your economy is in the shambles, is in shambles. So people quit that field, become sound engineers, become music producers, arrangers, like I myself did. Some become film directors because they had an interest in photography from the very beginning. So many people join different professions, but they remain your friends and acquaintances. So that's how I stayed in the music scene. We're talking about Kushal. Yeah, Dhruv Rathi, just a teleprompter. Okay, Lokavya. Yeah, this was his question. Okay, now let's get to the next topic. Okay. So where is the Dhruv Rathi one? Wait. Not Dhruv Rathi, I mean beer biceps, Subramanian Swamy. And if anyone wants to join the link, here's the link. Okay, if anyone wants to join the live stream, let me pin it. Can I pin it from here? No, I can't pin it from here. I'll have to pin it from here. Okay. Rai is saying the next few years is going to be crucial. If BJP doesn't bring an able successor, it will fight for 2029 is very tough for many different reasons for many different people. First of all, I'm not sure if 2029 there will be an election. If there's something like that one nation one election thing, then it might be maybe 1 or 2 years before 2029 or maybe after 2029, because they'll have to coordinate it with the most numbers of state assembly elections as well. Plus there's going to be 1/3 women's reservation in the MP seats. Then there's going to be delimitation. So all the seats where our Patharbaz homies are winning, because of them being a majority in that constituency, won't be Patharbaz anymore. Especially in Bengal, it's extremely important that someone who knows of these things is in power by then in Bengal, because delimitation has to happen in a way so that they are not the majority. If you read Shomode's book as well, you'll know what I'm talking about, and you'll be able to learn a lot of things about what were the subtle little things that were going on for years and decades before Pakistan finally happens. Okay, that is why this book is important in another way, that this book talks about only 1885 to 1906. Okay, do buy this book, because I'm not doing this for paid promotion. Okay, no one has paid me to do this. Dr. Shomode did gift this book to me. So imagine the partition happens in 1947, but Dr. Shomode is tracking 1885 to 1906 because he has obviously found juicy things back then, which finally set the red carpet rolling for Pakistan. Okay, Gramsci Goat is here. We'll take him in after I answer these questions. Delimitation needed to make sure that Hindu, right? Okay, so let's have with us now Gramsci Goat. Hello, Gramsci Goat.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
So, first you will see the Subramanian Swamy video, or
No, Subramanian Swamy video to is long. We'll go on chatting with it, and then have discussions with you people as well. So you say what you wanted to say.
yesterday when you were doing the Bipin Chandrapal podcast, I actually discovered something, that even Bipin Chandrapal ji had written a mercy petition.
Okay.
Barendra Kumar Ghosh and 200 Congress members, literally everyone has written a mercy petition.
Right.
And
yeah, what are you going to do without mercy petitions? Ghar baithe rehna padega.
How still they are able to do this Maafi Veer narrative. It's just absolutely. I watched the film, and even my father, he likes Savarkar, but then he also saying, "Arey, ye to Maafi," and I feel very, very irritated by this. And I actually feel that leftist domination actually brings down the intellectual capability of the common person, common people.
Very true. And you see, the Maafi Veer thing wasn't even that well thought out. They just thought that we have put freedom fighters on such a pedestal, such an aspirational model, that freedom fighters are superhuman, godlike superheroes who never make any mistake, who have no scandals in their life, and therefore they obviously don't sign mercy petitions as well. वो इंप्रेशन किसने बनाने को बोला था? हमको तो नहीं चाहिए वो अनरियलिस्टिक स्टैंडर्ड. हाँ, जेल गए हो, इमीडिएटली दो मर्सी पिटिशन, बाहर आके इवनिंग तक फिर से काम पे लग जाओ. दैट इज व्हाट सावरकर वाज डूइंग. Savarkar started signing mercy petitions the moment he set his foot in the Andaman prisons. He didn't actually sign it only 12 years later. So that it's not like he was waiting for 12 years so that someday some people can make a great movie on him. He started writing mercy petitions immediately as soon as he entered Andaman, and he has written that even many times even after coming out of Andamans, he has written mercy petitions. So mercy petitions were the way of the world back then, and especially with the British government turning absolute fascists. If you study, if you read even Janki Bakle's book on Savarkar, she's only highlighting how Savarkar's life was basically hell ever since he was 15, 16, ever since the time of Mitra Mela, complete surveillance. British were doing complete surveillance over anyone who even, let's say, thought or spoke about positively for the revolutionaries or remotely against the British. Everyone was getting arrested. So वो mercy petition देगा तो नहीं तो क्या करेगा? Yeah, now go on.
Yes, and I wanted to say that just the news which I saw that a BJP guy was shot dead. So why do you think that BJP don't go that harsh on TMC, because this time only one case, but previously तो बहुत ज़्यादा violence हो चुका है. I think they can actually declare some kind of, precedent rule.
तो पहली बात तो यह है कि वो प्रेसिडेंस रूल मोदी डिक्लेयर करेगा, वो अगले दिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट में रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा. उसके बाद जो वायलेंस चलना है वो ही चलेगा. एंड सेकेंडली, मोदी डज टेक केयर ऑफ things internationally as well, right? So I think what's going on in his mind all the time is that, wow, so the international media is going to think if he declares presidential election that, wow, the guy we heard was a fascist is now actually doing fascist things, is actually now declaring supra governmental central rule on a state. How can this man do these things? There's going to be even more international pressure. But the thing that Modi cares about more is that is really going to affect India's image, which is going to affect investments. Okay, so West Bengal going under president's rule, I think, has not happened for that very reason. Because if it is up to personal egos and or even party based let's say ego, which I'm saying is basically jati solidarity of today. Today's political party solidarity is your caste solidarity replaced in a new form today. So if Shubhendu Adhikari tried to do those things, if Narendra Modi would try to do those things, those would be based on just show of power and breaking even more laws. Because the only thing that can be done here in this place legally is by West Bengal police. And if they are not allowed to do anything, or if they are explicitly told that you are not supposed to do anything, the central government, if they do whatever they do, will be illegal and will basically decrease investments in the country.
Yes, and then I imagine that if in UP, if some Samajwadi party worker is shot dead, how much big of a news that would be. I mean, the lives of BJP workers in Bengal, I don't know, I feel like are so
Hello? अरे खो गए. Okay, let's bring the other person here. Who is Adikash?
Hey, hello Niranjan.
Hello.
My name is Adi, and I come from your neighboring state. So
Okay.
yeah. So basically, I have a question regarding the ongoing controversy, and not only ongoing, basically on Twitter. It always we can say that it happens now it's happening on sort of regular basis, which is the sort of dispute between what we call quote unquote trad and raita.
Yeah.
Okay. And not only it's not now now you can see that it's now not only limited to the sort of common Twitterati, rather now it has come on the big sort of intellectuals like Kushal Mehra and Harsh, and even recently, if you would have followed the kind of the dispute that happened, even Nupur from Op India, she entered there. So my question is that why you think that basically the sort of intellectuals who are basically called quote unquote trad, called this sort of Abhijit and Kushal Kabal, even Dr. Ankit Shah, even that side call these people deracinated, and the response which we get from the other side is they call them castes. So what do you see the basis of that, Niranjan?
Yeah. So basis to okay. Can you? There's a lot of echo going on. Can you mute your stuff? Let's see if it's happening. Yeah. Now the echo is gone. Okay, so I'll go on speaking now. So the thing is, the fact that this debate is happening is a very good thing. It helps all of us think harder about these things, and because 99.99% people on both sides are saying that they are against caste-based bad behavior and discrimination, right? So I think it's a brilliant mental exercise for both sides to say that, okay, I am going to criticize you because I think you might end up being discriminatory, and therefore I'm asking you to give up a part of your heritage. And here are my arguments to prove that you are being discriminatory or you plan to be discriminatory in the future. And the other side is of course also even more challenged in this debate because they have to defend their heritage, cultural heritage, and also say that no, even if we defend our heritage, we are not going to do bad behaviors like happened in the yesteryears, and we are not going to be discriminatory, etc. Kushal focusing a lot of it on just Brahmins is a bit weird for me, but I kind of cut him some slack because I think he might have seen more instances of casteism outside living in any state that's not West Bengal, because West Bengal has completely basically eliminated caste-based bad behavior in the conscious way, in the Jati Varna sense at least. Otherwise, you see only upper caste Brahmins, mainly Brahmins, as successful people in all fields of professions, mainly, at least the ones that garners the maximum amount of money. But that's not because of active, let's say, active conscious discrimination, right? But we can call that casteism, of course. But what we do generally know to be casteism, that has never happened. I've never seen it in West Bengal. Okay, it happens way more subtly in West Bengal. So maybe Kushal Mehra has a reason to talk about it in a different way. But I find it absolutely fruitful because this debate should have happened since 1947. From 1947 onwards, we kind of let's say agreed upon that. Okay, India is bad, India's past is bad, Hinduism is bad, Jati Varna, everything is bad, Brahmins have always been bad, Pujaris are bad. So now finally some resistance is coming on from both sides. And I think therefore great arguments are going to come around. And where this will end, that is where I think we can't really talk about too much without data. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a gradual withering away of caste and jati identities. No one has to force anyone for it. It's just going to be the order of the world because of capitalism and technology and prosperity. But what I also know is that if you pit yourself directly against a Hindu tradition, you will lose. You cannot defeat a devout Hindu who actually believes in his traditions. So I'm just saying, I just don't see a point in taking the confrontational route that Kushal has taken. So I think that if at all someone has been able to save their jati identity, at least even in name, not by profession, up until now, okay, after thousands of years of them, their ancestors jumping jati and varna here and there, even up until now, I don't personally know anyone who even knows what their jati is. I found out my jati reading a research paper just a few months back. Okay, I found out that I'm a Teli caste. So that's how it usually happens in Bengal. So at least in the last 30-40 years. So if at all someone has been able to maintain their jati even today, even after staying in the city, if at all, most people cannot. If at all they have, you're not going to shout down that person or piss that person off and make him quit his jati identity. वैसा तो नहीं होगा. So at least accommodate them and make sure that they don't behave badly towards the people lower than them in the Varna system.
Niranjan, I just want to make a little sort of a pinpointed point. Basically, if you would have followed recently, I don't want to take the name. Some person on Twitter happened to make a point that basically refuting J. Sai Deepak, where on what's his name, on some podcast where J. Sai Deepak said that basically he was talking about the plight of Brahmin community, and he basically drew a comparison between Kashmiri Pandits and the Tamrams, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
So on that, many people refuted that this is basically sort of comparing apple with oranges, and basically which created a Twitter controversy, and many people refuted that gentleman. Okay. So my point here is it really correct? Because if you see that the so-called liberal side of the Hindutva side is basically making the point that yes, these two are not comparable, and victimhood thing is not good. Whereas the other side is making a point. Even one person quoted, if you would have read, have you read Maureen Patterson's work on Chitpavan Brahmin, that pogrom? Oh, all right.
No.
So basically, one person quoted Maureen L. Patterson's work. It's there on archives.org. I wish you give it a read once. They are basically saying that there was some controversy which happened basically in early 1900s between Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj and some Chitpavan Brahmin, which is called Vedokt controversy, basically. And after that, what happened that Shahu Maharaj, according to that Morinel Patterson's paper, he basically tried to he reserved 50% jobs in the state of Kolhapur for non-Brahmins, and he basically by 1911 he gave lands and all sort of cash grants to Satya Shodhak Samaj, which was basically languishing after death of its founder in 1890, Jyotiba Phule's death. Okay, so the thing is that by 1919, I mean a lot of anti-Brahmin content was going on in that particular state. It started, and to the point that by the instruction of Kolhapur Maharaj only, Bombay High Court judge, his name was Justice NHC Koyaji. He basically prepared a 95-page report on Chitpavan Brahmin pogrom, where he basically in very first line he basically said he he outrightly said that the long anti-Brahmin sentiment that was going on in the state is one of the reasons for this pogrom. After Mahatma Gandhi's assassination, the pogrom which took place. So the thing is that, do you think that this liberal Hindutva side, which is saying that to compare Kashmiri Pandits with Tambrams, is comparing apple with oranges, because it was the kind of dehumanization which is which is presently going on in Tamil Nadu, which resulted that kind of dehumanization only resulted in the plight of Chitpavan Brahmins. So do you think that this argument of them is correct, which when they say that we shouldn't compare Kashmiri Pandits and Tambrams?
Unless the violence, okay, you have to mute it again, okay? Yeah. So unless the violence has happened in the same way, like in the case of Chitpavan Brahmins and like in the case of Kashmiri Pandits, of course, we can't call it anything on a similar footing. So as far as I know, there has not been such violence against Tamil Brahmins as there has been against Chitpavan Brahmins and Kashmiri Pandits. So that's where we'll have to leave it. But as for anyone making the argument that they are dehumanized in the same way, yes, of course they are dehumanized in the same way. The narrative is there, but as long as the violence actively has not happened so far against Tamil Brahmins, we cannot put it in the same category as the violence against Chitpavan Brahmins and Kashmiri Pandits.
No, my point here is that it was the same kind of, rather that this dehumanization of Kashmir Tambrams is basically even more compared to the Chitpavan Brahmins thing, because that Chitpavan Brahmin thing started with that Vedokt controversy between Chitpavan Brahmins and Shahu Maharaj in 1902. Basically, the thing what Patterson writes in her essay is that they denied Shahu Maharaj Kshatriya status, because the Chitpavan Brahmin, because of which he got angry and he basically reserved 50% of the administrative posts for the non-Brahmins. He abolished the Kulkarni Vatan in 1919. And he gave land and cash grants to languishing Satya Shodhak Samaj. And in 1911 and by 1920, it became really that organization took a rebirth, and it became very powerful. And via plays and theaters and street plays and all, it entered all Maratha villages, and it was basically the kind of content which it was peddling was absolute anti-Brahmin. If you go by the citations of that paper. So the thing is that it the kind of, and even if let's even forget all these points, if we read the report not by some common person, a Bombay High Court judge, even he clearly highlights this thing, that the long anti-Brahmin gown that was being prepared, and it happened because it required just a spark, by God say.
Yeah, right.
So my thing is कि ये dehumanization जो हो रहा है ना Tambrams का, वो dehumanization तो exactly उस तरह से सेम है यहाँ भी sort of, अगर एक spark ही चाहिए, जिस तरह का spark गोडसे ने create किया था, जिसके वजह से वो चित्पावन ब्रह्म पोग्राम का explosion हुआ, उस तरह का मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि वो dehumanization तो already चल ही रहा है ना, तो I mean it just needs a reason for violence.
Right. But okay, now, yeah, you'll have to mute again. So, where does criticism, discussion end and where does dehumanization start? That is a very subtle line, and that line actually, where that line is, depends on who is in power or what government is in power, how much things do they allow it or their gundas allow it. So that will be, of course, different. That line will be at different places in different eras. So there has to be criticism of, now, in order to not dehumanize Brahmins, we can't stop just criticizing anything Brahmins ever did, right? So there we will have to come to a legit, reasonable negotiation point, where we can not dehumanize Brahmins, but at the same time say that yes, Brahmins also have done bad things. From there,
Of
this
course.
amicable solution might come out of.
Of course, of course. See, my point is basically what we can say is sort of a Savarkarite point of view, that even if you read second volume of Vikram Sampath, you might have gone through. You see that regularly Dr. Veer Savarkar ji has been talking about the subcasteism amongst the what we called
Yeah.
so-called depressed
Vulor
classes.
Varnas.
Yes.
Hmm.
So the thing is, and he has on record said that it's not a so-called Savarna caste, just a Savarna caste phenomenon. We
Yeah,
all
yeah.
are, exactly his words are, we all are guilty.
Yeah.
So
I agree here.
my point is exactly, we must stand up for any casteist thing, any oppression for any caste. My point is this particular thing. And one more, and the problem I see with this dehumanizing thing and a lot of bashing is that I am not ready to buy that Godse didn't know that what could be the repercussions of his actions, looking at the kind of anti-Brahmin content that was being peddled in his state by various organizations. Even in that 25-page report, explicitly the judge has taken name of a worker of Satyashodhak Samaj.
Okay.
That's there on archives.org. I request Ranjan, it's a very important, I think you should go through that. So explicitly the judge takes the name of a Satyashodhak Samaj worker. Explicitly he takes the name. So the thing is that lot of bash. So the thing is, I am not ready to buy कि Godse को पता नहीं था कि क्या हो सकता है उसके actions का repercussion. But he was Hindu tanman mera, Hindu rag rag mera parichay. He didn't realize, he was of the view that मैं नहीं मानता हूँ caste में तो और कोई भी नहीं मानेगा. That was wrong. The aggressor didn't believe in this caste annihilation illusion. But Godse believed. So he didn't give a damn about his actions.
Right. Okay, Adikash. Thank you. Thank you for informing us of many new different angles and tangents. We'll talk to you again next time.
Thank you, Ranjan. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye. Okay, now we have IDK. Who is IDK? Hello,
Hey,
IDK.
hello.
Hi.
Hello, Nihajon.
Hi.
So, first of all, I would like to appreciate the YouTube discourse, YouTube political discourse, or the right-wing discourse present in Bengal was almost non-present. But with your channel, we are getting a space. We can discuss the problems, and you are shedding some light on the various issues right now. But the thing is, the topic which I am going to present to you, it's not very much related to politics directly, but indirectly, there are some repercussions. Actually, the thing is, I was going through some, the man space YouTube channels from the West. All right, so there is a propaganda. I think they are peddling that you should not get married, you should not go, you should not form a family, you should not marry because of the courts. They are presenting a case for women. All right, where the recent case of Hardik Pandya, 70% of the property was presented to the woman. I don't know her name, it's not in my mind right now. So do you see a problem like this also emerging in the Indian space, that's happening in Western world? I think that what a lot of the Westerners are now doing is some kind of a term came up, passport bros, so do you see the same case happening with Indian also?
Yeah, because Indian laws are also almost insane. Today, if you don't fear anyone looking down upon you for getting molested or something, all you have to do is basically go stand in the police station and say anything you want. Your words will be taken seriously to no end. Okay, there won't be any limits to how much you can accuse anyone of if you're a woman. So the laws are absolutely on the insanity side. Where we needed to strengthen things was so that more people in the society do not feel the need to look down upon a woman who got raped or molested. We need a society where women themselves don't feel any embarrassment in sharing a story of molestation or getting raped with the legal authorities or their parents as well. And we know that's not happening anytime soon, right? तो ये जो घटिया सिचुएशन है उस महिला के लिए, इसका इसका रेमेडी ये कैसे हो सकता है? तो मारो भोसड़ी वालों सारे सारे मर्दों को, कुछ बोले उसके खिलाफ कोई तो इमीडिएटली जेल में डाल दो. एंड द caste question comes down heavily importantly here as well. If you happen to be the daughter of a significant politician or someone who is from the dominant caste in that area, and you have some qualms against your ex-boyfriend who is either not from the political party or is in the lower ranks of that political party, or God forbid if you are just in a lower caste than her, then you are fucked anywhere in the offices of India. So that kind of your life is over. That kind of a thing is there in the legal system at the moment, and that I don't think is also changing anytime soon, unless someone realizes in the upper echelons of government that such bullshit laws are affecting our fertility rate. People are not ready to get married because of these laws. So maybe tweak the laws in some way where we can incentivize marriages and procreation.
But I was going through Kushal Mehra's live stream last day, and there was a live mint article he was sharing. It was showing like that the women voters are becoming the majority. Like they are they are like a deciding factor to the majority party that will be in power. So like I don't see a political discourse that's going to like make some laws that will not be in favor of those section of the society who are not the deciding factor for the government they are going to form. Especially in Bengal, I don't see it happening for a long time.
Yeah. Bengal, don't bring Bengal in this conversation. But nationally, I think I do have a lot of hope from women of the non-left. Okay. Even like people we were discussing a few days back with madam sociologist, madam political scientist, even she was kind of on our side of the arguments. So I don't think all women are crazy, and especially most women on the non-left are not crazy. There are some. So let's see, we can now only hope that women will take up our cause. ये लड़कों से नहीं होगा.
And now I should come to a direct question regarding politics. The thing is, why do you think that BJP is not investing in the academia?
Because they hate academia. Because they are pissed off with academia and journalism from the times of them not being in power. They know all these people. They know all these sorts of people who have written utter horseshit and rubbish about RSS, Modi, BJP, Amit Shah, everyone. So it's kind of they haven't moved on from this pain of the ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend sort of situation. They will have to now. I think in this term they will. And this time, if they don't let go of their anger against academia, what's worse is that they are going to come down heavily on the liberal arts academia. And that liberal arts academia, if you come down heavily on them, it's going to prevent so many people's minds from getting changed. I think if at all Modi does not do anything about the academia, at least he should step away from handling the academia at all, which is what happened for all these years. People casually stumbled upon debates between J. Deepak and Shashi Tharoor and realized, wow, J. Deepak is a much more awesome person to follow. They just stumbled upon Sanjeev Sanyal because he came across, as a casual liberal Bengali guy, writes school history books. Let's see what it is all about. And then they stumble upon this insane history of India. So you can't force these ideas on people. Only way people will be, let's say, motivated into thinking in a different way is if the academia says so. For that, you can just create funds. You need to incentivize more people into doing more things that you want, instead of disincentivizing more things from people whom you don't want them to do good things. Okay, that's the way it should happen. But if either, I think this time around, either they are going to sit up and take note of non-left academics and give them positions of power, and if not, God forbid, I think they might come down heavily on academia this time. The best of both worlds would be if they just give power and funding to non-left academics. But if not, my second choice is, of course, that he just stays away, for just like he has stayed away. Modi has stayed away from academia for these 10 years. I think he should stay away. Let's see what he does.
But if he stays away from academia in the longer discourse, where will the ideas of Hindutva, which is now rising due to the political power, to be very honest, we have great thinkers from Bankim to Chandranath Basu in Bengal also, but we have seen their ideas fade away over the last 40-50 years since the power shifted to the left. And if such a scenario happens again on the national scale, I don't think they will be able to have a sustainable system which will enable them to come to power next time, unless and until it is like 40 or 50 years down the line. So it will be a major setback if we are going to.
Yeah, see, societal change because of books though is already happening. Look at the kind of sales even Anand Ranganathan did with his book, and Sanjeev Sanyal, Jesai Deepak, Vikram Sampath, they are though on fire. Now you need to handle these things even inside academia, so that your knowledge production and your global stature also is handled. Okay. So for that, Narendra Modi will of course have to do it. But as for outside overall society's motivations, that I think is left is going to be defeated very badly anyway, because of YouTube and already the books that are getting written outside academia itself.
All right. Okay, that's it from my end. Please carry on.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining. Lots of people waiting in the line. Bye bye, IDK. Okay. Now Akshat. Hello, Akshat.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
So I've been watching regularly since that discussion with Sanjeev Sanyal, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'll keep my question brief. So what, according to you, is the difference between decoloniality and de-Abrahamization, based on the arguments articulated by Jesai Deepak and Kushal respectively? And what are the merits and demerits of each? And what is the best way forward for our civilization?
For the Indian context, and that is very important, in whenever we discuss decoloniality, the context is very important, because that's how the theory was put forth in the first place. Okay, that every society chooses its way of decoloniality, and also decides what its decolonialized world looks like. So for the Indian situation, I think decoloniality and de-Abrahamization is absolutely the same thing. And as for, let's say, pitfalls of decoloniality, all I can say is that whatever concerns Kushal shares, I think I also share, but I don't think the fault of that lies on Jesai Deepak or decoloniality. It's not like I'm defending decoloniality all the time, because after all, the people who came up with this theory were Marxists who want to see the end of the first worlds. I don't want that anyway. I'm not even a Marxist. So all I'm saying is that I'm using their lexicon, their framework, to use for whatever is in India's benefit. And Kushal Mehra, for some reason, thinks that using a lens like decoloniality will inherently mean that we now go back to bullock carts, 300 BC of India, where apparently no one is learning anything of science. That sort of an India is not going to happen, bhai. Therefore, I think there's absolutely no way India is going back to a regressive Hindu past, which was, of course, most progressive in comparison to the rest of the world. Even if we consider that Chanakya's 300 BC India was regressive compared to today, even then I don't think anyone is planning to go back to that, because your technology, your facilities, your resources, your education is only improving now. Up until now, the cities and mofusils were having so much fun. Now even the tier 2, tier 3 cities are going to see so much progress, and with that progress is going to come different ways of thinking, different, let's say, Western influences and stuff. All that is going to come. So which is why I say that how are you even going to save your jati, and how are you going to send India back to a 300 BC wala Bharatvarsha? So therefore I think fears that are based on decoloniality setting our country back a few years or back to communism in some way, I think they are not very well founded.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining. Gautam Varun is next. Yeah. Hi, Gautam Varun.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to again ask about a language issue question, because I think it it should be discussed in little more way, if you don't mind.
Hmm.
What do you think about the language narrative that in India you see that if you live in a certain state, you must learn that language. Like if you live in Bengal, you have to
Hmm.
learn that language because you live there.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
Hmm. Uh, See, at the end of the day, all it comes down to is what do you need to learn absolutely, which is the part of that society you can't live in without knowing even a little bit of that language. In Bengal, learning Bengali is not necessary. I have countless non-Bengali friends who know Bengali fluently, and I know countless non-Bengali friends who have lived here for 2-3 generations and don't know a word of Bengali. So it's obviously different in different states. So for your job, though, knowing English and Hindi suffices. So that's what you'll have to just swallow, that English and Hindi are the default kind of national, kind of official languages of the entire country. Because of the financial influence of Bollywood, most people have watched Hindi movies and learned Hindi.
I want to ask you about your Marxist experience, or how did you how was your mindset? Like, yeah.
My mindset was that everything in India's past was bad. India was a very problematic society. Hinduism is bad. Religion is, of course, in general bad, but Hinduism is also especially bad because we did casteism and sati pratha. All the standard things that you hear from people.
Yeah. And last question is, you said once that I asked you that we should bring foreign university in India or not. And you said that we should bring them. But don't you think that they will have an influence in our minds? Like, you
Yeah.
know, how Rajiv Malhotra talks about how breaking India forces.
Yeah. So all I'll say is that you'll have to tweak for that. Okay, the name recognition, the kind of investments, etc., or the value of that degree, all that comes with that foreign degree. You just don't let them teach which are antithetical to your culture. Stuff like transgenderism, etc. Okay, even communism will have to be taught. Even Marxism will have to be taught. How do you make sure that just because you read Marxism, the next day you don't become Marxist? For that, of course, more cultural and socio-cultural things have to be in place. Pop culture has to take a responsibility, etc. But all that will happen because of so many other things. Okay, that influence of Marxism will happen because of so many other things, that the benefits that we do get out of allowing a foreign university to set up here, that benefit that we will get from them is not worth letting go of just because we hope of not allowing transgenderism, or not allowing people from getting influenced by transgenderism in India. So we will have to allow that university as well and handle their academia and their syllabus accordingly, because you need to learn what are the best practices of everything, which was my example even last day. I pointed out that, see, Saudi Arabia, UAE, these are semi first world countries, and actually better and safer than many first world countries. Out of the blue, they were created out of thin air in the middle of a desert. They did all that without losing their complete Islamic identity. They are devout Muslim at the moment. Maybe they'll actively go off it because of for some other intentions, but so far they did not need to. And on top of that, they took whatever they could from first world countries and their technologies, etc.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you for joining, Gautam. Next we have Brahminical patriarchy. Hello, Brahminical patriarchy.
Namaskar, Dada.
Namaskar.
Yes, I have just one question, and it's based more on society than on what's going on in politics. Is that belonging from a practicing occult family, what I have noticed is that most non practicing Brahmins, so called Brahmins in Bengal, give more importance to their status as Brahmins than the practicing Brahmins. Also, the so-called lower jatis, so-called lower castes, they also give more importance to being a Brahmin, right? And the idea that Brahmins are so-called pushing this identity of we are Brahmins and so on in Bengal has been pretty much debunked from the since the last 10 years. People have almost given up on that basis because most of us are either communists or atels in Bengal,
Yeah.
right? So my question to you is that the practicing occultists, just because they are labeled as Brahmins since birth, are being bundled into this whole identity that no, since you are so and so, you are also the oppressive class. What is your opinion on this?
I don't blame anyone for their ancestors' past mistakes anyway, and especially because in this case we can't even be sure if your specific and Brahminical ancestor was at all an oppressor. So I am not going to get to that game anyway. And as far as your specific problem, it's very new to me. I did not even know that problem like this existed. So thank you for informing us about this.
Thank you. That was my question.
I
Thank you
am
for your time.
absolutely against blaming descendants for the mistakes of their parents and ancestors and stuff, which is why that sets me apart from wokeists and, let's say, the kind of people decolonialist anti-decolonial people fear. Decolonialism can't just be Hindu wokeism.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Next we have okay, Rakshit Yadav is saying even if foreign university comes, no foreign professor will come to India and work here, so it is pointless. Maybe not so, not completely. Maybe in the social sciences field it might be important, but you see, the syllabus, teaching apparatus might still be something very fun and cool if these foreign universities come here. I'm not exactly sure about it. Okay, next we have Joy Sriram. Hello, Joy Sriram.
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yeah.
Okay, I am that annoying person, maybe you know as Indian Political TV. I am
Okay.
mailed you many times for
Yeah.
joining my page. Okay,
Yeah.
we will talk about it later. Okay, I have just two questions. First of all, what is your last prediction about the 2024 election in West Bengal? And second, how do you see the matter, the conflict between religion and science? And what kind of relation of state and religion we should follow, like UAE or like the Britain? That's it, my question.
Final prediction is 22 plus for BJP in West Bengal, and religion and governance or science does not have to be in any sort of a conflict in India, at least with Hinduism. And if we have so many scientists after scientists doing puja part, we don't see inherently, it's not like we learned of the skill, but we inherently don't see a conflict between science and religion, and therefore there won't be any societal conflict between science and religion. People will just have to be allowed to go around doing their religious chores, as far as they don't end up killing someone or harming someone physically. So that's all. It's, I think, pretty easy to solve here, unless someone wants now extra demands and stuff, unless like some devout Hindu festivals are allowed just because they are Hindu festivals, even though they harm many other human beings. For now, for now, the discussion has to be in the human realm, of course, because if we start talking about animal sacrifices, that's there's no point getting into that discussion, because most people are not vegetarian anyway. So animal bali is going to go on, and you go on with your religious practices, and the nation will follow whatever is in its best interest. But I guess the only factor where you can actually bring about the or bring to attention the religious nature of the state itself, I think, is in the context of whether we look, or whether as a state, as an Indian government, let's say if I was a government today, do we prioritize Hinduism over everything else, or do we set an equal stage, uniform civil code sort of a thing for all religions? There, I think the state needs to give a equal footing for everyone, and not do any pro Hindu reservations or any extra policies that mollycoddles Hindus, because that immediately incentivizes bad and non-competent behavior from Hindus. So far, it has not happened, and so far, Brahmins have been actually incentivized to study even harder. All the upper castes have been basically told to study even harder because you don't even have reservation to save your ass. That kind of a thing needs to go on, where you don't get any special treatment.
Thank
Okay,
you
Jai
very much for your answer. Okay,
Okay.
I am satisfied. Okay, bye.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have Abhay. Hello, Abhay. Which Abhay is this? Is this Abhay Agarwal?
Hello, Dada. Namaskar.
Hi. Namaskar.
Yeah, this is Abhay Agarwal only. So,
Oh,
if you are wondering.
long-term viewer. Hi.
Yeah, so, yeah, one of your guests was talking about this propaganda that men should not marry and all. While some people may be exaggerating this issue, but this is a valid issue being raised by certain men's rights activists and people who talk about
Yeah.
because the laws in India are absolutely bigoted against men. It's not even
Yeah.
prejudiced, it's bigoted. It works on the assumption that if a woman accuses a man of something, he is guilty. That's the problem. And it assumes that every man is a potential predator. You see in child custody rights, you see in alimony rights, you see in maintenance rights. Even if the wife cheats on the husband has to pay alimony because of occasional adultery. So, in what world will a sane man want to marry in such a situation? And it's not just him; his entire family can be implicated in false statement.
Yeah.
So many men are committing suicide. Suicide rates are 70% compared to 30% of women. मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा लोग पढ़ते नहीं है या एक साइड ही देखते हैं कि women are oppressed in the society. I am not saying that women have been not harmed in the society, but this is not the way. The way was हमने SC/ST के भी इशू में यही किया कास्ट में. We didn't do any development. We didn't improve our law and order and policing. We didn't improve our judicial efficiency. And to cover it up, it was all blamed on the society and Hindu culture. That Hindu culture is bad, Hindu society is oppressive, though it was mostly the fault of the Indian governance. That misgovernance was blamed on the society.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in my view, Indian society or Hindu society is much better than Western society in that way. It's just that West got its governance correct. It could provide all the basic facilities to people, which Indian government never did. It applied all socialist policies and then started blaming Hindus for it, that this is Hindu rate of growth, this is Hindu culture, this is that. This is, and the kind of law making we have in this country, SC/ST atrocities, gynocentric sexual offences law, instead of law which is equal for everyone. That mindset itself peddles victimhood and creates that victimhood mindset that I can never be wrong because I'm a woman, I'm always oppressed.
Yeah.
तो जो लोग बोलते हैं ना कि यूएस वोक है, हम लोग 70 साल से वोक.
Yeah.
यूएस अभी वोक बना, हम 70 साल से वोक.
Yeah.
This is what
This is what happens with socialist bureaucrats and socialist academics, socialist economists. Everything is socialist in India. They will make laws like these only. That is the inherent way of thinking, that okay, a problem is not getting solved, throw some money at it. Okay, a problem is not getting solved, make a law for it. The law will solve the problem. Nothing else will need to happen.
The issue is, if you just see the contrast in cities, men are being falsely accused of rape on false promise of marriage, which is an absurd concept in itself. And in Sandesh Khali, you see women are not being able to speak up.
Yeah.
You see the contrast.
Of course.
This is a systematic problem, that policing is not good, judiciary is taking its own sweet time, 15-20 years to decide a case. So real cases are not getting...
Tamil Nadu Bar Association gave some sort of reprimand to Sanjeev Sanyal for saying that judges go on so many holidays, etc. So they are not going to fix their own stuff.
So the Indian state doesn't want to take accountability for its own incompetence. It wants to push all the accountability on the society. That's the problem. And when we end up creating more fissures in the society, that men are oppressive, family is oppressive, patriarchy is oppressive, in the end we also destroy the family structure.
And
Which is happening today.
Pretty soon we are going to, our next generations are going to end up saying women are inherently, by definition, women are oppressive. That's also not going to solve any problems of yours.
Yeah, absolutely true. This is absolutely true. We will going on playing this pendulum. That women are oppressive, men are oppressive. Instead of blaming the main culprit, that is the inefficient Indian state. Which doesn't want to take any accountability for it. It only wants to go on making laws and systems which are used to control more people.
And whatever laws are there in place, even if I take into account that they are very women centric, even if a woman, let's say, who's an intern of some sort, or is a junior in the judiciary system, and accuses someone of high stature, even they are not going to get any justice. So powerful people will always get away with it, but the laws will be tougher and tougher and tougher, so that a non-powerful person, and if he does not have contacts, his life is absolutely screwed.
Yeah, it's the middle class people like us who will be screwed the most. It's the middle class families who will be broken, and in future divorces are going to increase. People should realize that. And more the divorces, more fake 498As, more fatherless children growing up, more men being separated from their children and possibly committing suicide because they are being forcibly separated from them. People are not realizing this.
Dire things are in order for the Indian cities, especially West Bengal. I think there's going to be mass orphanaging of kids. I think in the 2040s. Okay, by the time people who were born in the late 90s or in the early 90s, and by the time they reach their early 40s, most of them, at least most Bengali women in Kolkata, are going to be dying of heart attack left and right by the time they are 42, all the 90s kids. Okay, because that's how their health is. 42, 41 is a ripe old age for dying because of heart disease, and the condition of Bengali women, their fitness levels, their health levels is abysmal, and they think they are going to be proud of their chubby and chubbiness, and they are going to stay alive with that. No. Men are going to get divorced, they are going to die of heart attack, the kids are going to be taken away by the government, and a lot of them are not going to have kids anyway. So you're not going to have kids, therefore maybe suffer a stress of a different kind, and you are going to have problems with your husband or wife because you don't have any reason to negotiate harder, because you don't have kids anyway, and you'll also probably die at 42, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. But I think women have more chances of dying at 42 if they are 90s and later born, because they are also embracing that chubbiness identity. So Abhay, yes, of course, I share all your concerns, but I don't see any solution for these things anytime soon.
Yeah, I think Modi ji is also going to appease women. It's not going to change anytime soon, because most of his voters are women. That's his major vote bank.
And you see the women of the Modi ji who are now becoming voters of Modi ji, they are also mostly from the villages, no? So they think these magical superhero kind of laws are going to save them from the hands of the man who actually wants to rape them, but it's not.
Actually, there are many feminists, very rabid feminists, who like the Hindu symbolism, like they would put on a tilak and go to a temple. But socially, they are very like leftist Western. Like they want to sleep around, they want to date hundreds of men. So there are some people saying that women voted for Modi, therefore there is no problem with women, and women becoming more and more liberal, very liberal with their sexuality. But I think even women who are voting Modi are socially very left. In fact, BJP, I think, is socially very progressive left. It's not socially right-wing party. If you look at its policies, pro-reservation, pro-women reservation, pro-women laws, they're very progressive. India does not have a real conservative party which believes in protecting the social structures. I mean, we need a real conservative party which can pull BJP more to the right.
Yeah.
Maybe, possibly a
Maybe.
cuckoo conservative party.
Yeah. Okay, Abhay. Thanks for joining.
So,
We'll talk again next
thank you,
time.
Raj.
Thank you, Abhay.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have T and Swamy. Let's see. Yeah. Hello, T and Swamy. Are you still here? बहुत लंबा हो गया ये.
Yes.
line.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Jai Shri
Go
Ram.
ahead. Jai
Yeah.
Shri Ram.
So, what I wanted to ask you, since you're there in Kolkata, I just wanted to ask you. I'll take very little time. See, last time when the results came out for the assembly elections in Bengal, you know what followed next, right? The level of violence was just unprecedented, and the national reporting, it didn't happen. I don't know what the hell happened with that human rights report. Why is it that BJP is so incompetent as far as violence against Hindus is concerned? I never quite understood it, and my mind just boggled when I read Hindus in Hindu Rashtra by Anand Ranganathan. It's just so unfair. I mean, whatever. So, since you are in Calcutta, I just wanted to know that what do you see right now? Because exit polls numbers are looking very good for BJP. I mean, I never thought that it's going to be like, because I thought because of the violence, the fear of violence, people might not come out, the BJP voters would be. But I mean, hats off to, Bongs are known for it, the fight back attitude that I've seen. I've lived in Bengal for quite some time. I know that. So hats off to that spirit. And if the results stands, like if the exit poll results, it shows up on June 4th, and if BJP is actually way ahead of TMC, do you think this violence? Are you anticipating anything, or is it going to happen, or like what? Like I just want to know.
Whatever is going to happen, all the bad things, all the evil things, all the violence is going to be of way lesser magnitude this time, because people simply don't have any more cash to pay to gundas. सारा का सारा cash ED लेकर चला गया है, and the organizers of those violences are either in jail or are at home very sick. People like Mukul Roy and stuff. Okay, that's why whatever violence there could have happened is not going to happen too much. There will be some, because after all there are many unemployed people who have been unemployed since they were 15 years old, and now they are in their 40s. All their life they have spent being a gunda of some political party or the other. Right now they are not going to take up a different profession, so those people will stay, but they are going to hire way less because of socialism. They came into this profession, and now they'll have to end their profession, but in the next 5 years.
Right. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you so much.
Okay, next we have AB. Hello, AB.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
All right. So I will back to the questions. You have any thoughts on Agniveer scheme? If yes, then I will ask the question, or I will skip to the next one.
Whatever I've known about Agniveer scheme is from discussions that were held by Abhijit Chavda and some by, I think, on Advaita Kala's podcast. Based on that, I've only heard good things about it, so I have no reason to oppose Agniveer. And as far as I've read, American retired Navy SEAL, retired Special Forces people as well, this seems to be a very American model as well, which works out really well for them.
So my question on that is, does this in any way contribute to diminishing the influence of Maulanas over Muslim youth? For example, let's say some youth is in the Muslim dominated community, and one of them got a job. So I am standing next to Panchar store, and I am just thinking about hitting them, hitting that guy. So, and this guy is coming back from his job, and he's saying some good things about the stuff. So that will change my mind, right? So is it affecting, or it's just nothing happening?
Yeah, I think it takes them away from Maulanas. Yes. So they come back with a different vision of the country, a different way of looking at camaraderie, maybe. Because how many Pattharbaz terrorists have we really had who have at some point served in the Indian Army? In the Indian Army has been the one institution in the whole world who has handled Hindu-Muslim, let's say, friendship or relationships the best. So if they come retire or serve for a while in such an institution, I only expect best things out of them.
Because Modi's whole plan is to take away the power from these feudal Sunni
Yeah.
lords
Yeah.
as much as possible. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Next question. Provided BJP wins with good majority, will they do delimitation of Lok Sabha seats and like increase the total seats to some 800 or something? Or first you answer this, then I will ask the follow-up.
Amit Shah has so far said that they are going to take care of Tamil Nadu, whatever that means, right? That the fact that they control their population better, but they are going to now lose away seats to UP. I don't think such harsh things are going to happen to any states. Maybe if at all something happens of that sort, it's going to be of very small magnitude. I am mainly looking forward to constituency reorganizations as part of delimitation and women's reservation. Let's see what happens with that. And it is going to happen in some way or the other. So it is going to happen. You can't run away from delimitation.
Okay, because I was thinking that they will confirm the 33% women thing, and more tickets will be given to women since the pizza size is increased, right? So more slice to more people.
Yeah.
But I also think that they would do this in phases so that it doesn't blow back to BJP itself, like in controlled manner.
Yeah.
Not in one shot, like some numbers in this next election and to next election, like divide. All right.
Yeah. Maybe.
Next question is, provided BJP again wins with the good majority, will BJP attempts anything? If BJP attempts anything on Waqf, what would be the implication in the number of states?
A lot of protests and burning down things. I expect mainly in Karnataka, Kerala, and West Bengal, not in the entirety of the country. And let's see how much BJP has prepared. I think they are prepared to handle these things. If at all, if they do try to handle the Waqf situation, I think they're prepared to handle the violence as well. It will happen for a few days, but it will die down pretty soon. I think so. Because in many things in the recent times, whether after all it was Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha or Kashmir files or the Gyanvapi verdicts, etc. In many things, we could have expected protests and riots, but they did not happen. So I think NIA is doing a good job.
Or they will do indirectly, meaning they will first aim for UCC, which is at top level, right? And they will see its effect trickle down in across the country, and based on their plus minus thing, they will attempt anything on Waqf, that too in 2027 or 2028.
Yeah, might be. Maybe UCC will first happen, Waqf later on.
All right.
I don't see them handling Waqf anytime soon, actually. I don't think it's going to happen before 2029 or maybe just around 2029 to do it sort of as a cool gimmick. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Because at best, what I think they will do is they will tweak and reorganize Waqf.
Yeah, 200% agree on that. They will do the trailer in 2026 or something, and actual film will be released just before the election because they have to use that.
Yeah.
Final question. Again, this is my old question. So you have very pessimistic view of future of WB, West Bengal, right?
Yeah.
That eventually it is going to go away, blah, blah, blah. Again.
Yeah.
So can't we use divide and rule in positive aspect, meaning just divide the West Bengal into multiple states so that whoever is controlling, they will have limited power in terms of moving the masses.
See, that can only work when you can put a hard stop to illegal immigration. That you can't because of the kind of physical border we have with Bangladesh.
And can't NRC will help in let's say they attempt NRC in 2026?
Yeah, if at all NRC happens, maybe for some time it can. But as long as there are corrupt people on earth, there are going to be corrupt people who let them in. There are going to be corrupt people who give them Aadhaar card and voter ID card. I think the population can be more easily handled if the border, Indian border, ends at West Bengal and Bihar. All the border from West Bengal onwards is all ambiguous. That's why so many infiltrations happen. or as Deep Haldar was saying, he has hopes that BJP or the central government will increase the powers of the or increase the numbers of law and order people in the border. I don't think that's also going to happen. But if at all an NRC is put in place, and if at all they don't even go to the kicking out route, they just hope that a social financial boycott of these people happen, therefore they leave India gradually on their own, that's going to take so much time that by that time all of my predictions are going to come true anyway. So even with NRC, most things are not going to be taken care of, because first of all, you can't put a hard stop on the illegal immigration.
So I'm not saying that one solution will be enough to curb this problem. No, it has to mix of like 3-4 ideas and putting them together and executing them. Only then there is a like 30% chance that what you're saying will not happen.
Yeah.
Even that, like executing properly.
Yeah. First of all, though, first we need a liberal Muslim population. A majority of Muslims, we need them to be liberal and not crazy anti-Indian. First, let's have that. First, that will happen. Then you will see that okay, a generation is here that which has absolutely no problem with them. Then, of course, when you think all your measures are in place, when you think you've solved the problem, that's when the call for a reform is going to come. And what's going to happen then? At that moment, when that hypothetical call for reform comes, Bengali Hindu population is going to be a joke. Because at the moment, even when tier 2, tier 3 non-Kolkata Bengali Hindus also see some progress and let's say prosperity in their lives, first thing they're going to do is stop having kids. If not zero kids, they will have way less amounts of kids, or die at 42 because they thought being chubby is the way to embrace your sexuality. So who is going to be the population in this spot called West Bengal? So I don't see a solution here.
Okay, all right. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abhi. Now Munshi Shastri.
Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
M Shastri. Hi.
Yeah, I want to. There were a couple of speakers who were basically like Hindutva is a conservative movement. I'd like to push back on that. It is not. It's a modernist movement, right? We don't have social structures that are worthy of conserving. Right?
Yeah, this is where I was planning to answer you anyway. This is where, of course, Strads will say that their Jati identity is the thing that they need to conserve.
That's also again bullshit, right? Now, I'll push back on this as well. When it comes to traditions, right, we have something called as Vedika Parampara. Even in Orthodox circles, nobody practices Vedika Parampara. It's basically been reduced to 4 sets of rituals, right? Your Graha Pravesh, your Shadi Vivah, your Upanayana, and your funerals, basically. Right? Nobody practices Vedika Parampara outside of that. And that is a parampara that's been there for about 7,000 years. Now, if that tradition has been reduced to just 4 rituals, what makes you think that caste needs to be conserved for another 1,000, 2,000 years? It's not going to happen, right?
Yeah, I think people will try to save it, but it won't get saved in the end.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? And what are we trying to achieve, right? So what does conservatism even mean in the Hindu context, right? It means you're going to bring back Dharma Shastras. So if you're going to bring back Dharma Shastras, that means you're going to have laws for every jati. I'm not even saying varna, I'm saying jati, right? So that means a Brahmin in the south will be able to have widow remarriage, but a Bengali Brahmin will not be able to have widow remarriage. Right? I mean, these are the levels of differences we are talking about.
Yeah.
And I think if you go even in rural Uttar Pradesh and you ask them, this is the kind of law you want, they'd say, absolutely not. So and look at the goals of the BJP, right? They're saying UCC, which is basically Uniform Civil Code.
Yeah.
That is completely antithetical to anything Hindu, right? We are saying that, oh, we are going to move away from laws for every jati to having one universal law for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's Hindutva is not a conservative movement. I think people who think it's a conservative movement are completely mistaken, right?
Well, Ashish Nandi actually in his paper about Savarkar actually pointed this thing out pretty well, that Savarkar in the end was an European nationalist, and he was trying to mold Indian culture and religion. He was trying to fit that into an European framework, and that's not a big problem really. I think there's nothing to be ashamed of it, because we are in a European setting. We are a post-colonial society with colonial laws, colonial structures. Our education system, laws are all born out of, directly or indirectly, out of a European way of thinking about life and society. So how are you going to really maintain a pre-colonial society other than completely breaking down the system?
Question is, do you even want to maintain a pre-colonial society, right? And I think
some people want, but the problem with that answer is that I don't think they even understand what was or how to bring back a pre-colonial society, unless we just get back to let's say play acting things. We
right.
dress up that way,
and that's not going to happen, right? So what we are actually looking at is a modernist response to our history. We are responding to the centuries of colonialism. We're not going back to a pre-colonial society. We are responding to it, right? Like, okay, we've been colonized by the British for 250 years. Okay, what does our decolonization process look like? Okay, we need to scrap laws. We need to empower. We need to rebuild like the panchayat system or whatever. That's a response. It's not a return to pre-colonial society.
Yeah. Which is why decoloniality is in the end a hybrid future, not a 300 BC Chanakyan future.
Exactly. You'll never get back to the glory days of whatever. I mean, even think about it in slightly different ways, right? Like, what kind of glory future are you going to go back to, right? Are you going to say, okay, fine, we'll go back to the Gupta era? Does that mean you're going to get rid of Bharatnatyam?
Yeah, it's not going to be not going to happen with those black and white statements.
Right. I mean, think about it. Like, people think Bharatnatyam is a very ancient tradition. No, it's actually it's quite recent. It's only it's a 17th century dance form. So, are you going to get rid of the beauty of Bharatnatyam?
Right. No.
Right. Are you going to get rid of Odissi, which is also recent? Right. I mean, it's a very stupid notion to think that we're going to go back to a pre-colonial society. No, it's always going to be a modernist response to what we have experienced through our life. So yeah, Hindutva is never going to be a conservative movement. It's a modernist response to what we have experienced.
Yeah. Well, what Niner and Abhay are saying, I think, are pretty apt. Niner is saying we aren't going pre-colonial, but we want aspects of Hinduism of the past back, don't we? So yeah, aspects of Hinduism maybe. And Abhay is saying never said Hindutva was conservative, but that we need a conservative perspective. Yeah. So conservative usually means conserving the way things are for the majority of that community in that country. But for us, conservatism will also have to mean something different. So
No, I
yes,
mean,
if at all we do call ourselves conservative, it is going to be in the European sense or in the first world WASP sense only. That is why I think Ashish Nandi actually hit the hammer on the head, saying that Hindutva, Savarkar, these are essentially European ideas.
No, I think I disagree. Right, this is again a fundamentally, I would call it Eurocentric view. Right, like we've learned again and again and again that while we might adopt so-called tools of European thinking, we still make it our own, right? To put it this way, right? To give you a good analogy, let's say there's a stone and you're a sculptor, right? You're just using European iron tools to sculpt that tools. That sculpture is still yours. Like what Ashish Nandi is saying is that no, the sculpture is European because you're using European tools. That's never the case, right? Like Savarkar, he used Manzini, but he's not saying that we need to 100% follow Manzini. He basically says Manzini united Italy, and that brought a sense of national identity to Italians. We need to do the same thing. I mean, he's talking about a goal. He's not talking about using Mancini or building a Mancini state or something like that, right? He's looking at the goal. So that's the thing. Yeah, Jati shouldn't be eradicated. It's a identity. Like, no, I see. It's not even hierarchical, right? I mean, it's been made hierarchical, right? Like we've been taught.
Yeah, hierarchies will always take place in the society. It's a part of social organization. All my qualm against the hierarchy of jati and varna or caste is that hierarchies are going to happen anyway. Because of you being lower in some hierarchy or the other, you are going to face some discrimination anyway. Why add on to it? That's all. But if you have in fact managed to save your culture or jati identity up till now, you are obviously not going to let it go, but seize so that it is possible.
I think
so that
you'll see a lot. Again, you'll see a modernization of that, right? The Ganesh Chaturthi festivities that we celebrate, is also a modern festival.
Yeah.
So and you'll see those changes happen, right? Like even in my own village, where you still have Kula segregated temples, their rituals have changed quite significantly, even within the past 2 generations. So I think the people saying that jati is going to exist, varna is going to exist, don't know what they're talking about. There'll be a huge churn. Things become popular, things become not so popular, and mostly most priests, most devout Hindus, they abide by yuga dharma, right? Dharma of the current ages, contemporary dharma. And if today's yuga dharma is against jativad or jati vyavastha,
that is what.
Then rituals will automatically follow.
Convenience and economic prosperity is everything in the end for a society as a whole.
And again, like, we do not have social structures worthy of conserving. We have traditions worthy of conserving. They are two very different things. So,
okay, M. Shastri, thank you for joining. We have many people waiting, so we'll get to them now. Next we have Ayush. Hi Ayush.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Ayush.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So did you saw the exit polls? Do you think that it will be synonymous to the results gonna be announced on 4th?
Yeah.
And what about West Bengal? I mean, I was awestruck by West Bengal. 30 seats. That's gonna be like a lot.
No, not 30 seats. 22 to 25, I think.
Okay, 22 to 25. So not the Axis India predictions.
No. 25, 27 would be 27 would be surprisingly high.
Okay, so then do you think that BJP is gonna increase the tally to around 150 in the 2025 elections, assembly elections?
Yeah, 2026. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, if they can give and take, buy some MLAs from teams, so they might be able to form government as well.
Yeah, I think before 2026 they'll bring a no confidence motion in assembly, and Shubhendu will be the CM of West Bengal before the end of 2026 comes, I think.
Wow. And one thing which I wanted to ask you is that, is it true that the SC communities, the SC Hindu communities of Bengal, are they voting more for BJP than the upper echelon of society, the Bhadraloks? and all that?
So far, no idea. But after this election, all will be clear. My hunch is yes,
Okay.
because
And is it also true that
all the significant Hindu consolidation that has happened, that hasn't happened with the Brahmin Kami votes. That has happened with scheduled caste Mofusil votes only, Mofusil and village votes.
okay, okay, sir.
Because
And
today only 20% of Trinamool's total voter base is even Hindu. Okay. So,
yeah,
and Bengal has such a gigantic scheduled caste population, scheduled tribe population. So where are they voting? So all those votes are going to
yeah.
BJP only.
And earlier they used to vote for the communist,
Yeah.
but they still
They
remain
voted
devout
for a
Hindus,
while.
right?
They voted for a while for Trinamool as well, but pretty quickly shifted to BJP when they got convinced.
Okay. And did you see the exit polls in Kerala? In Kerala, there's an 11% voting increase among Christian votes that went to
Hmm.
BJP. So earlier, I
Yeah.
think it was around 90, and it has increased by 11%. So that's, I think, phenomenal.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, Ayush, anything else you want to add?
no, no, no.
Okay.
Right now, nothing.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for joining, Ayush. We'll have you back again if you want. Now we have other people in the queue. So bye bye, Ayush. Okay, next we have Suryashish Paul. Is he still here? Hello, Suryashish Paul. Hi. Are Komi. Hi, Komi. He is our Buddhadev Bhattacharya ID, okay? So, say, what do you want to redistribute today? Wait, his audio got redistributed, I think. Your audio is not coming. No audio. Gujarat mein redistribute kar diya. No audio, bro. Let's see if he can rejoin. Yeah, I'll wait for you a bit, Suryashish. I'll wait for you to rejoin and then see if your audio is back. Okay, Abhay is saying one conservation that must be done is Hindu marriage and family institution. It doesn't mean it should not evolve, but the institution needs to be retained. Heavy stuff today for discussion. Meera Tripathi is saying, how much percentage of Hindus voted for BJP in Bengal? अभी का तो कुछ पता नहीं है. अब तक तो there was, I think, 50% above. I don't remember the figures, but it was insanely high already last time around in the 2019 elections. Conservative should be judged on the basis of what he wants to conserve. Yeah. Okay. Meera Tripathi is saying Hindutva wants to conserve our proud civilizational identity, traditions, culture, heritage while reforming the bad. No, there's no one Hindutva thing, right? Like already Jesai Deepak is claiming other things for Hindutva, whereas Savarkar, RSS people have other views of Hindutva. So there's hardly any united we in all these aspects. It will mostly depend on how many people you can influence with your social media posts and friendships and stuff, or whatever happens in the academia and in the governance, in the policy making of the prime minister itself. Without that, there's not going to be too much of Hindutva is going to do this or that, or Hindutva should do this or that. There's not going to be any united one Hindutva in the first place. So yes, whatever you are saying, that conserve our proud civilizational identity, by this sentence I mean that remind people, keep reminding people what our what great personalities there were in our past, and so that you grow up with full, let's say, civilizational pride, cultural pride, exactly things we have grown up without. So those things need to be intact. RS is not only in Hindutva, yes, but up until now they were the only ones talking about Hindutva. So I think diversity of thoughts are good. Yes. It was more than up in 2019 despite Yogi effect. Okay, it was more than UP in 2019 despite Yogi effect. Right. Yes, Rakshit. Yes. So the new economic stats. Yes, so we are growing at 8.4% even now. Nina is saying, Dada, do you think Bengal will produce any national level Hindu leaders soon? Yes, they will. Okay, Suryashish is back. Let's see if his audio is fine now. Hi, Suryashish.
Hi.
Yeah. It's
Am I
audible.
audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one question which you already briefly hinted at. Is one is that in case BJP gets more seats than Trinamool, what are the chances that there will be a coup of sorts? Like
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to ask. So is this based on your hunch, or do you have insider news, or what is it exactly based
I
on?
have no insider information. It's completely based on hunch. because they are absolute sharks when it comes to electoral mathematics and let's say acquiring candidates, etc. Everywhere they do it. They have done it in Bengal even before coming to power, during the 2021 election preparations. So why won't they do it after they are the majority in terms of MPs? So I think they will absolutely do it. It's obvious that they will do it.
Okay. And one thing about uh, past also I have heard your talks. So you have often said that like it is necessary for BJP to use muscle power to gain you know to win in West Bengal. So
Yeah.
what what prompts you to think that if they use muscle power to get to power, then they will not go down the path of what CPM went through, or Congress went through, or Trinamool also went
Yeah.
through?
Yeah.
That in general, what happens is that at first it's a complete cycle. First, they say that the party in power is using muscle to wreak havoc. Then they say that okay, let's get some of these henchmen on our side to win. And then
Yeah.
when they come to power, it's basically they're handcuffed by the same henchmen
Right.
who brought them to power.
Right.
So what makes
That
you believe
actually,
that?
yeah, whether that will happen or whether that will go on happening or not depends on the, at the end of the day, the party constitution, or how seriously that party constitution is taken. Trinamool has a party constitution which no one takes seriously. No one in the party takes seriously. It's at the end of the day, whatever game today morning is thought up by Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. CPIM's game was never to be that nice guy anyway, because they are communists after all. Because whatever they do, they are on the side of angels, as Thomas Well puts these people on. So if you are on the quote unquote side of angels, you have the justification and the moral justification to do anything. So why won't you go around killing people? But RSS and BJP does not function like that. We are seeing it's only on the basis of what RSS and BJP are so far doing in the rest of the country. Nowhere are post-poll violence is going on. Nowhere is BJP losing and then going around killing people. Nowhere is BJP coming to power and going around killing people. And therefore that I think will not happen in West Bengal as well, because after all Narendra Modi का तो डंडा रहेगा इस बिंदु के ऊपर कि अरे भाई तुम यहाँ उतना वायलेंस करोगे तो मैं इसको कैसे यहाँ पे इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन लाऊंगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट लाऊंगा. Modi is planning to make Kolkata the sort of capital of entire Southeast Asia. How is that going to happen if Shubhendu becomes another Mamata Banerjee? So with that, I have the hopes that it's not going to be as violent. And you see, I've kind of been proven wrong already because of this election itself. Because if the exit polls are correct, then BJP essentially came to power without any fear mongering or gundaism.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, this is actually what Rudra Prasanna Banerjee, our guest one day, had said. He stands the correct person in this conversation. He said that yes, actually, even without Gundagardi, you can come to power. That's what happened in 2011. People did vote for Trinamool in 2011. Maybe this time they are not voting for Trinamool, and ISF did manage a lot of Muslim votes. So everything is coming together for BJP this time.
Okay. And one more question that you were mentioning about people dying of not working out and getting fat and getting curvy. Why do you think this is the case, that like for other Western ideals, Bengalis are very happy to accept a lot of Western ideals, but when it comes to physical labor, and there is a large movement of working out in the US as well as in Europe, people lay a lot of emphasis. The same is not reflected in West Bengal. And does it have something to do with the density of population as well? Because there is literally no place to work out. Like no, in Bangalore and other places, there are lots of parks and all that where you can go. Even person who cannot afford the gym can go and work out.
Right.
But that is not the case in West Bengal, especially.
See,
in
Rabindra Sarobar can accommodate lots of people anyway, but the problem I'm talking about is in Kolkata proper so far. It's not even in the Mofusils, right? So it's not like the Mofusil people are not being able to afford a gym, therefore they are getting fatter. So it's not even a problem so far with them. The problem at the moment is core with Kolkata and the few Mofusils where there are plenty of gyms anyway. But they are not going to accept any idea from the West just because it's Western, right? They are going to accept it if it's convenient as well and easy to do as well. That's the first thing I learned by going vegan, that all the talks of social justice, oppressor oppressed narrative, all that goes to hell when you ask Bengalis to go vegan. At hearing uttering the word vegan, all of them all of a sudden started calling me RSS Kadalla, etc. Back in 2015, when even though I was not anything other than a commie for 3 years more after 2015, up until 2018 I was a commie. So their reaction to veganism is all you need to know about the general tendency of Bengali urban people for any idea. And as for any idea in general affecting a group of people, that's what the way it's going to happen is that whatever is the majority section of that influential idea, that is going to influence the most numbers of people anywhere in any group in the world. Okay, so why did Indian and Bengali women even start trying to lose fat in the first place? They did that not because they were embracing their Indian curvy figure back then. That happened because they were trying to emulate white skinny women who were being projected on the posters of every movie and music video. So because Hollywood set their attention now on black curvy women, therefore now everyone in the world thinks being curvy, even with no matter how much fat I want, is the way to go. So this has nothing to do with embracing curves. If you had to embrace curves, you could have embraced curves even while looking at Britney Spears' body. But now you think putting on extra fat is going to make you look like Beyonce, because you don't know that Beyonce is full of flesh. You don't know that Serena Williams is strong as fuck. You think you putting on fat and looking like Beyonce is going to make you fit and strong like Beyonce. So that's going to kill you at 42. So Hollywood is also, of course, again playing a big role here.
Yeah, what do you think about like sexualization of the idea of Bengali women in by Bollywood? Like, yeah, in recent movies also I have seen movies I don't want to name anyway, but that Bengali women are of a different league altogether. And do you think this
Right.
this idea is only limited to Bengali women, or is it limited to Bengali men as well? Because Bengali men also are like not working out a lot anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Bengali men never worked out anyway. So, which is the weirdest part, because Bengal has the most numbers of violent men in the country, but they won't work out, of course. So, workout comes with a lot of let's say family environment and stuff. If you prioritize your academia from the very childhood, you're not going to be allowed to play too much. So you'll spend your young life, childhood growing up not playing any sport. So you will be bad at sports and you will not feel any interest towards athletics or any workouts anyway. So that's what happened with Bengal, because we were known to prioritize education over everything. So prioritizing education for the 90s born kids and the late 80s born kids meant not going out to play. Now it's backfiring a lot. Now people who have become parents in the, let's say, the early 90s or the mid 90s, or even now, they are prioritizing a lot of sports and physical activities for their kids, because they know what's happening. They know that we spend our days unhealthy and just texting all day. They can't afford to do that with the next generation, so the next generation is being sent out to play. But as for sexualization of Bengali women in Bollywood, I think they ran out of women to sexualize, so now the next turn is of Bengali women. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Suryashish. Bye bye. Next is Honeyman. Hello, Honeyman.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that nowadays, like after the recent
Can you increase your
election,
volume or hold up the microphone of your headphone a little?
yeah. So am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Volume is a little too low. Yeah, go on.
So I was asking that after the recent elections, do you think that the left is no more left in India, as in India, and now the main battle would be between Hindutva and the trad? As like the main battle, because I think the trads are taking away the position of the left, not intellectually, but in the empty position. Now, because Hindutva's one of the main opposition is caste, the traditional people's main influence is caste, they are going to be our main opponent. Because I spent some time in ad circles, just to know their Purva Paksha, and well, to be fair, it's very scary what they want. So I wanted you to on this, please. I found it really scary, especially me
Yeah.
being from background.
Can you say it a little louder, the last part?
Especially me being from OBC background, I would be screwed. Like I am from like I don't know, I'm Ghosh, so I don't know my caste, but I have OBC certificate. So in Bengal, we don't have like caste-based discrimination as
Yeah.
such. You know, obviously.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but the trans circles really scare me. Even in regards to women empowerment, they're like, women should do their household chores. They shouldn't, help in the economy and stuff. I mean, they're really traditionalist. So, what is your idea and thoughts on this?
I think that problem is not taking shape anytime soon, because the kind of people we have in power today, who on the left are on the left of whom are even more anti-caste people. So the pro caste based bad behavior wala Hindu person is not coming to power anytime soon. So I don't think it's that important, and especially with more urbanization, economic prosperity, you're not going to be able to, what we were discussing in the beginning, you're not going to be
Yes,
able
but
to maintain your caste varna hierarchy in the first place. Even if you do maintain that, then you'll have to be an asshole enough to think that someone below you is not as good as you. A lot of insane things has to come into place for this system to exist, which does not frankly exist in any industrialized society. It let's say the bad parts of that system happened in our society as well, when we deindustrialized to a large extent, and now we are going on the other way around. So I don't think it's going to be significant all that much.
yeah, but don't you think that the pride in the culture which Hindutva has brought, which is a good in a sense, has
Yeah.
also led to the increase in the trad behavior, as in increase in
Yeah,
like following the
everything is,
trad.
yeah, there are pros and cons to everything. This might be a pro that has gotten some oxygen, but we are only the people standing against it, right? हमारे पीछे तो कौमी लोग हैं, उनको सब हिंदुओं को ही मार भगाना है. Magar, if in the mainstream of the Hindutva movement only you have people who are opposed to bad behavior towards so-called lower varnas, who are these actually evil asshole trads are going to fight against? They are total number to, okay, Brahmin population is, let's say, 4.5%. Even if we take all the top three varnas,
Actually, they are not just Brahmins, man. They are
it's not just Brahmins, it's OBCs as well. It's
yeah, obviously.
everyone who thinks they're someone lower than them is a bad person. So that can't exist in a situation where rapid industrialization and fast life job pressure is going on.
I see. That is a
It
good
can't.
thing. Yeah.
I would say
And
that even if you want to be an evil trad today, you won't be able to maintain that lifestyle. You won't be able to just go around hating someone or not hiring people. How are you really going to discriminate against?
well, we can't discriminate on, let's say, on official grounds, let's say, on job opportunities, for example, but we can discriminate on religious grounds, as in, let's say, these number of people would not be allowed to read the Vedas. Now, leads to a lot of, animosity between caste, and this leads to a lot of conversion as well. This is a
Yeah,
prime cause of conversion.
it happened when we did not have too much industrialization. Now we do, right?
Yeah, but still, well, I can read the Veda as many
Yeah.
times as I want, technically. But
Yeah.
when you don't have a religious sanction into it, then you run into problems. For example, let's talk about homosexuality. Hinduism doesn't have a religious problem with homosexuality. Like, it doesn't condone, neither it sort of
Bans.
do bans homosexuality religiously,
Yeah.
scripturally, but Christianity does. So with the amount of hostility towards homosexuality is more of like ignorance rather than religious something that it is something evil. Whereas if you go to Christian societies or Muslim societies, they consider it evil to the
Yeah.
extent that they will even kill their son or daughter for that.
Yeah.
In India, maybe they would do Dart Fatkar or maybe scold a little bit, like, yeah, kaisa ho sakta hai, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When you have religious sanction for it, it leads to a lot of other things, no? Like more like religious has a place in our society, and religion has a place in our society, and as religions give sanction to certain things,
Yeah.
although in the mainstream it is not popularized, it has a certain weight to it. So how are
Right.
we going to take it?
One aspect is that if you think it's screwed up at the moment, contribute to organizations who you think are opposed to these things. The second is, if you think that it's not the case right now but can happen in the future, for that also you'll have to do the same things I said in point one, but also you have to keep in mind the history or the trajectory of this movement of Hindutva that we see today. It comes from Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Swami Vivekanand, Savarkar, Rabindranath Tagore, all these people. None of these people were in favor of caste-based bad behavior. So that person who is today getting convinced of Hindutva, or today the people in power who are standing in favor of Hindutva, all of these people are influenced from these people only, not caste-based bad behavior wale people.
Still,
Where
Hindutva
is that
also
person's voice going to come from?
still Hindutva also promotes, let's say, culturalism, as in read our scriptures.
Right.
Our scriptures also have great
Yeah.
knowledge, but with great knowledge, we also have some bad things as well. We are
Yeah,
not all pure
exactly.
and fine.
That will be a coming
So,
to literally coming to Jesus moment, that okay, this bad thing was written in my culture, and still I'm not going to follow it because I can't even go around following that thing because of my today's lifestyle. Therefore, that makes you an even more intelligent and non-crazy person, that okay, even if it was there in my past, I'm not going to follow it. I'm going to follow it whatever is convenient for me today.
well, but that's where the trends disappear, na? That they want to hold
And
everything
the
that
number
has
is insignificant. Just because there are some trads, I can't spend my day thinking just about trads. No.
yeah, in a sense, it is true. I see.
Hmm.
But with the main argument of the left is based on trads. Like they always strawman
Yeah, that is
the
called a straw man.
yeah, like they always strawman Hindutva as trads, and they
Right.
try to burn down the trads. But
Yeah.
we are not saying that we are trads.
Yeah. So if they want to burn down trads, by trads in this case I mean caste based bad behavior wale people, fair enough. He's doing your job. He's your henchman already.
Yeah, I see. That's what I asked. And
Yeah.
regarding let's say women. Do you think that what should we do to like increase the, let's say, I see a lot of women who are irreligious these days. Like traditionally,
You
women
see
are
a lot
more
of women what? Okay,
irreligious,
religious.
like
Okay. Okay.
irreligious.
Okay. Okay. Irreligious.
Yeah. So, do you think that it stems because there are certain religious norms that during periods they are not allowed to worship and all these things? How can we like reduce these things and make draw them towards being more religious? Because they are the like the core of our society. Because they only teach kids, right? They are the main part. So if they turn
Yeah.
irreligious or uncultured, then the whole society will have a problem.
Right.
So do
See,
you
you
think
can't
that
make anyone religious by
it is
wanting
not,
for that person to
I
become
think
religious.
it is not forcing religious. Let's say we create more Devi temples where, just like the Kashi corridor or some that Mahakal corridor, we put statues of great women in history of Hinduism who had done great works and
Right.
praise whatever good is there. Bad though is obviously there. Misogyny is always there.
You know, all commie Brahmin Bengali women who hate Hindutva, all of them take selfies on Ashtami and proudly say how much meat they ate during the Durga Pujas, right? So
Yeah, but
worshipping the
the
Devi has not
politics.
gotten anything for them.
Well, but let's say I'm not going to not convert, but let's say change the mind of who people who are above 30 years because they're not going to change their mind anyways because they have
Exactly.
after 30 they
So
have
the
changed their
people who are younger than 30, they can only be influenced. They can't be talked to. They can't be spoken down to. You can't convince anyone by telling them that, see, this is the better way and your way is
yes,
horseshit. You can't do that. You can
yes,
only
so
influence
we
them.
can influence them by let's say Devi temples and
No,
praising
you
women
can't influence them.
statues.
No atheist is going to become religious just because they saw a temple of their gender. Okay. They are going to be religious because of a lot of things. First is if they think that being religious in some way helps you in your life, in your
not
personal
saying
life, if they see you in your personal life that you are very religious, at the same time you are very successful, at the same time if they have some sort of religious upbringing, then they might have still some connections. And third is, if they stumble upon someone they like on the internet, on some religious guru sort of a personality themselves, by themselves, okay, the
I'm
only
not
way
saying
I the only reason I got influenced by direct spirituality directly, thought of saying prayers and stuff, was because of the personality of Rajarshi Nandi. If he had that usual calm demeanor of a person who is always polite and says the world is full of Maya, etc., if Rajarshi Nandi spoke like that, I would not listen to him in the first place. So those three things have to be in place.
No, I'm not saying that women who are irreligious because of philosophical reasons, because they don't believe in a philosophically a god. Let's say not that. I'm saying women who are irreligious because of misogyny. If they can all be
No,
influenced, right?
they are lying. No, they are not really irreligious because of misogyny. Because if you ask them, their brother is perfectly behaved with them, their father is perfectly behaved with them. So they are just looking at abstract misogyny data of the country, which is a fault of the Indian police officer, to then say that, see, all this happened, therefore I'm not religious. That's a lie and a cop out. They are not religious
No,
because they
I'm
don't feel
saying
like it. They don't see any benefit out of it.
well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that let's say a woman turned irreligious because she is not allowed to enter a temple in her period, and she thinks that this is misogyny rooted in religion, and that's why she wants to have a
That
family.
situation is so hypothetical because that it would not amount to anything. Okay, let's say we have a perfectly religious woman at this point. Okay, this is 9:24 in the night, and in 2024 we have a woman with us who is on her periods, who is devoutly Hindu, and while entering the temple premises, the purohit, or actually the temple purohit, is not going to check, right, whether she's on her periods or not. It's going to be someone from her family only saying that don't go to the temple today. If they are from that religious devout family, they remain usually devout, even though they have to follow that custom. We can't go around now telling them that no, from today I am going to tell you that don't follow this custom, and let them enter the temple premises regardless of what their period situation looks like. That conversation has to happen from that temple, or from that local priestess or her family members. Okay, we can't do anything in this case.
Well, true. I think that could be a good option.
Yeah.
I'll get that.
Okay, Honeyman, speak to you again next time.
Hmm.
Okay, next we have Ayush Anand.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Ayush.
My voice
Hi.
is my voice audible to you?
Yeah.
So, I just want to ask you a few questions. See, Japan is aging. South Korea has already aged. China is also aging. Europe has already aged. Do you think we are taking full like benefit of the opportunity provided to us and industrializing at a faster pace?
No.
Because I don't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not
We have
taking
to.
opportunity.
Yeah, we immediately have to incentivize. Okay, you have to mute when I'm speaking. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to incentivize having kids any time now, as soon as possible, which is not the case at all at the moment. Everything is incentivized against having kids or having a family or even getting married, which we have discussed a lot today actually. So all those laws and economic incentive structures have to come in place immediately.
Then how does empowerment goes with this? Like you want to women to produce kids, but you also want them to work. How can that be possible?
Yeah,
Like if a woman is
empowerment. Yeah. Woman empowerment is by definition only in terms of economic empowerment. So that's the 60s kind of liberal talking points that have become famous all around the world. So we have to go according to that at the moment. Whatever women empowerment means today is based on this idea that women give free labor for years and years, right? And that free labor argument is technically wrong, because at the end of the day she is also getting so-called free fooding and clothing for her entire life. So how is it really free? So because there was no economic discrepancy in terms of that free labor argument, therefore economics can't even solve this problem, because this problem does not exist in the first place. The problem that Indian society faced was not because the wife was a housewife, not just because she was a housewife, but because she kind of lost respect as a woman in the society. Okay, it's not just because of economics. So now if she gets a Lokhir Bhandar or a let's say some kind of economic prosperity, does that mean she gets respect in the society as soon as possible? Maybe it happened in the last few years, but again it's going downhill pretty soon, because the real problem which was there was not solved. On top of it, other fake solutions were brought up, and then fake problems have also now been created, for which reason men and women are going to be at loggerheads again. So what did we really solve? We did not really solve the problem which had happened because of deindustrialization. If there is so much let's say prioritization of men because of their physical strength, that's going to lead to women not being taken seriously. We don't need that anymore, because we now have industry, technology, science, etc. We don't need to depend just on physically able-bodied men, and that's all we need to take care of, and that's all we need to propagate in the culture. Not just the fact that women need to take jobs. ये एक मतलब mugged up मंत्रा के तरह लोग बोलते फिरते women empowerment, women's jobs, women empowerment, women's jobs. उससे कुछ आखिर का solution नहीं आएगा. So someone was saying here, yeah, Mira Tripathi is saying Israel has solved it. Now any problem is solvable if your country is the size of Israel, but still we can at least try to replicate Israel.
Israel is also like always in an existential crisis also, no? So
yeah,
the people,
that is why they manage it.
Yeah, people generally produce, and Orthodox Jews also produce most of
Yeah.
kids. Like
Yeah.
they have like a fertility rate of 6 or something.
Yeah, that's what. So those incentives have to come in. Let's say if you have less than 2 kids, you don't get a lot of government benefits, or you incentivize instead of disincentivizing. Let's say
But
if you
those,
have more than
like
2 kids, you get more facilities.
those policies have been tried in Eastern Europe and they have not been successful, at least to that extent. It has been tried in Hungary and in Japan. It is not successful at all. So I see this as as a very big threat to our country in a sense, because
No,
once the
right.
culture changes,
If they were not successful, then they were not good enough. How can you know you have a, let's
I
say,
think it's a cultural problem. Once the culture shifts from having a lot of kids to not having kids at all, I don't think we can go back. No country has ever been able to go back.
right? That is where again we'll have to learn from Israel instead, then, so that we prioritize having kids as a society, and that can only happen with parenting and pop culture, and also the government stopping saying that women empowerment is equal to women's jobs.
But do you think we can do that? Like we are not in an existential
Yeah,
crisis.
yeah. I think we can
Israel
do it.
is
Yeah. I think we can do it right after the government in the center figures out that this is what we need to do. So far, they haven't prioritized this. The moment they prioritize it, the society is ready anyway.
And also, I want to ask you one more thing. Do you think the breaking up of the joint family structure is bad for the society? Because I personally think
Yeah.
it is. Like joint family structure is one of the most efficient way of family raising. The kids
Yeah.
get taken care of. You don't need like
Yes.
to send them at a very early age to school. I see this
Yes.
at least in
अपब्रिंगिंग सिर्फ एक माँ एक बाप के हाथों से अपब्रिंगिंग नहीं होता है. अपब्रिंगिंग के लिए जॉइंट फैमिली ही चाहिए, बहुत सारा फैमिली सपोर्ट चाहिए. मगर हम सिंस वी आर अ पोस्ट कॉलोनियल सोसाइटी, सिंस रिसोर्स क्रंचेस के वजह से इतने सारे बवाल हो गए हैं इतने सारे फैमिलीज में, which is especially true in West Bengal. The family structures in West Bengal are in shambles. Okay, Bengalis, when they go outside West Bengal, they feel surprised that okay, for every occasion there's a gigantic extended family attending that occasion. These things are brand new information for urban Bengalis. Okay, so some battles are basically are a lost case in India. The joint family case might be one such thing for Bengalis at least. But in order to change that in the next generation, we'll have to incentivize having kids, and in the culture as well, go on having this conversation that family is not coming at the cost of your let's say independence or privacy, etc.
recently you did a podcast with Ankit Shah. I watched that, and in that
Yeah.
podcast he suggested that we should use temples or sort of in an educational manner. Do you agree with that proposition?
Yeah, and I think it's inevitable. Temple will take up a lot of financial duties and let's say responsibilities as well. So I think a lot of things will go free, and a lot of things will become free because of temples, I think, by 2029. Because without that, even government can't go around just creating incentive structures out of thin air. A lot of things will have to become free at the moment, or at least the quality has to be insanely better.
Also, I want to ask you one more thing. Like, do you think we should give much more importance to aesthetics in our modern architecture? Like, we should build like how the ancient Indians used to build, because our
We
buildings
should.
are soulless. Our
Yeah,
buildings are
we should,
soulless. They are
magar,
depressing.
yeah, we should, मगर वो नहीं होगा. वो होता था because of no labor laws, and because of like everything was your jati identity, and the way to show off your let's say jati pride. No, कि देखो मेरे बाप दादाओं ने ये टेम्पल बनाया है. तो वो अगर प्राइड वाइड का चक्कर नहीं है, सिर्फ जल्दी से एक टेम्पल निकालो, ये पैसा है, लेके घर जाओ, वैसा होगा तो वैसे टेम्पल्स कभी नहीं होंगे,
But
unless your budget is that high.
Europe is still able to build like beautiful temples, beautiful churches and
Where they are
cathedrals.
building mosques though.
Yeah, now it
Where
has
are they
stopped.
building?
Now it has stopped.
Yeah.
But they used to, like, if you see in most of the European cities, the Big Bang, these are really beautiful places.
When were they built?
Mostly in the 1900s, quite a long back.
Yeah,
I don't.
so back then they were not doing anything they wanted. No, they had enough money to do anything that they felt like doing. We won't
Do you
have any
think like?
that kind of money anymore.
Do you think like we should enact some kind of urban reforms and build new cities? Because most of our old planned cities, even Kolkata, is like a shithole in a sort of way. Open
Yeah,
sewers.
actually, Kolkata's problem is not the planning of it. Kolkata's problem is the amount of money circulating in the system. Cities like Chandigarh have problem in their planning itself. Okay, Kolkata does not have that problem. So cities will come up on their own. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to think of that. Let's build a city here. Things will happen with this growth of second tier, third tier cities that, or mafuzal towns that we are thinking will happen. Those will grow into cities anyway.
One more
Okay.
thing I want to ask
Yeah.
you, like,
Yeah.
what do you think will be the like future of our industrial path? Are we even going to industrialize in upcoming 10 years, or it's
Yeah.
going to be the same story repeating which we have been repeating over the last few decades?
No. There's going to be industrialization. Jobs, let's say service sector and manufacturing sector, both are going to boom.
And what is your like proposition for that? Like, what if the public rebels when we start bringing reforms? That's what AIM used to say. Like
which
industrialization,
reform specifically?
labor laws. Like we have.
Who is there to organize? You need people to organize. No, the parties who used to organize these people, they don't have any more MPs. Maybe Congress
It
will have some
happens
MPs. They'll
eventually.
organize some labor.
Like even if you take like a tiny time amount of exams and you say that we are going to reduce the seats, uh, people come on street and start burning vehicles. They start rioting.
Yeah. So I think if BJP gets 350 plus, they are going to be tough on law and order as well. They are not going to let India be a law and order joke around the world as the rest of the European countries today. Because if that happens, India's stature can't grow in international politics, nor can investments come in. So I think that will be dealt with very strongly.
What's your opinion on green energy? Like, do
I
you
think,
believe in climate change?
Yeah, I think climate warming is happening, but how much we can affect it by not doing certain things, there I am a little skeptical. But I'm pretty excited about nuclear. I'm not that excited about electric vehicles. If that reduces our dependency on Qatar and Saudi Arabia, etc., then of course it's good politically. For the environment, I don't think it does much, because you'll have to make the batteries and stuff anyway.
And what's your opinion on freedom of speech? Are you a radical freedom of speech guy, or you are moderate on that? Like you are okay with blasphemy laws?
No, I'm not okay with blasphemy laws. But if blasphemy laws go and we have patarbazes in our country, then we need significant self-defense reform laws as well. Because just because it's
Like
not illegal
gun
for me to go
ownership.
to what I said, I'm still going to get killed in my home. So free speech cannot happen without freedom of gun rights.
So you want gun rights in India, like,
Yeah.
but that is going to have unintended consequences, right? Like
No unintended consequence. Yeah.
imagine a riot broke out and people have guns and thus they start shooting each other. It
Therefore,
will
no one
be
shoots
a
and goes home. Therefore, no one shoots and
oh,
goes back home.
yeah.
Because everyone knows that guy is fully armed. The only way you stay in a riot and go on rioting, that ing, that the present tense of rioting, you do riot type of stuff because you know the opponent doesn't have anything other than a lathi. He will run behind you with a lathi, you will run away somewhere. If that guy also has a gun and his bullet is pointed at you, you straight away go to home and don't do the riot.
Hmm. What's your opinion on rewilding of sorts, like making like unfertile land, useless land into back into forest or sort of thing?
I don't know anything about this.
Like you don't have any particular opinion on that, like
No.
on rewilding, no?
No.
Hmm. What do you
Okay,
think
Ayush.
can be done?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, say.
What do you think can be done to increase the education standards of our institution?
More schools.
But that will only increase the quantity of the education, right?
Yeah.
It will
So
never
far we need
increase the quality.
at the moment we need quantity only. क्वालिटी और क्वांटिटी एक साथ नहीं होगा. तो क्वालिटी थोड़े बहुत आईआईटीज तो है, उसका भी नंबर्स इंक्रीज हुआ है. तो अभी फिर से थोड़ा बहुत अभी क्वांटिटी पे ध्यान देना होगा. But I think, see, it's hard to predict anything in terms of education because even the people in government don't know what's going to be the educational landscape like in 5-10 years because of AI and YouTube education. So what Sandeep Sanyal was saying, those things might become a reality. That brick and mortar buildings don't even exist anymore for schools. Then education can become free. You do some experiments in school, maybe meet up once or twice a day in the, like how open universities run. You meet up once or twice a day as part of your school curriculum inside JNU itself. Have a class, go home and see the notes and listen to the lectures given by other prestigious schools or colleges or universities.
And one last question: do you support Sanskrit becoming the link language of India?
Yeah,
Or
after
you
it has
believe?
been given a 15-year preparation time frame, of course, that as soon as a kid, no matter what board he is in, he gets into school and starts learning Sanskrit from the first day itself. And
Even
before
I
that
support
also,
that.
yeah, and before that also, you will need first Sanskrit scholars to standardize words and dialects among themselves. Because at the moment, you have debates between Sanskrit scholars themselves about each and everything, about each and every text. ऐसे सिचुएशन में हम स्कूल के बच्चों को नहीं बोल सकते कि तुम जाके संस्कृत पढ़ो. संस्कृत के बूढ़ों को फर्स्ट ये झमेला मिटवाने दो.
Even Israel revised the Hebrew language. It was totally extinct.
Yeah, I'm sure there weren't like 50 different interpretations of the Torah from different Hebrew scholars. If that was the case, maybe they handled that situation first.
It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. Same here. Now we have Professor Christoph Lieselot. Is he still here, or is he in some? Oh, he is here. Okay. This now, what a weird turn of events. You are a guest as well as you are a host, Christoph.
अरे हाँ भाई बाँचलाम अच्छा शोन yeah let's talk in English. Yeah I keep forgetting. Yeah, so certain issues which I have almost forgotten. Firstly,
Okay. How about you host for a while actually, and I'll just go to pee. Okay.
what
Your
the
mic will
hell?
be on. You keep speaking. Okay.
अरे ठीक है चलो.
Okay.
So a few things I wanted to tell you guys was basically okay, this feels weird doing this without Neerajan, but anyway, one thing I wanted to tell you guys was read up a bit on literature by B.D. Chattopadhyay, this one Herman Kulke and Ryusuke Furui and a few others. I can list them later. So these guys they have written on how the caste structures were created and maintained, and they were changed, right? Like, so caste ke upar baat ho raha tha na, so my this thing was, my idea has always been that these did not happen only in the religious sphere. These happened because of political and economic changes. This is because there were huge changes because of many tribal families and many lower caste families coming to power every now and then. So that changed the caste dimensions and hierarchies in every region. So that's why you can see that there are these huge changes, and there are different kinds of dominant castes in different parts of this country. तो यही बोलना था about caste with regards to the West Bengal violence angle and everything. Well, the problem with West Bengal is that, if violence is stopped completely right now, they will not BD Chattopadhyay, BD, Brojodulal Chattopadhyay, he's a historian. Read his works. You can find some of his works on Google itself. His works are on this thing, Rajput, the rise of Rajputs from tribals to proper dominant castes and royalty. So this will be very helpful, because these similar processes are happening all over the Indian subcontinent, right? So apart from the Brahmanical practices, so what I mean by Brahmanical practices, that basically kya hota tha ki Brahmins were a group of, let's say, professors, teachers, scholars, intellectuals and all that. So jaise abhi, right now you will see any government that comes to power will give people who do it. जैसे ध्रुव राठी सोच लो, मतलब बेकार के ब्राह्मण भी तो थे ना. So if there was a bad, horrible ruler or ex-ruler or somebody who was powerful, and let's say ध्रुव राठी के जैसा कोई paid agent था, इसको पैसा दे दिया, and of course because these were highly educated people, जैसे as ध्रुव राठी claims to be, so there was propaganda vehicles. So Brahmins did propaganda. That was their job, and that's not a crime, because everyone does today. If TMC pays me a ton of money, I'll sell out. I'm sorry, I need the money. So the point is, maybe Neerajan won't, but he doesn't love money as much as I do. So anyway, but that's the whole thing. Like, Brahmins are blamed, but Brahmins were a part of a system of state sponsored rise of different castes and tribes and groups, and Brahmins enabled it. Brahmins, if they became very, if they became very kya bole, exclusive, if Brahmins did not interact with anyone, then their influence over society would never have happened the way it did. Okay, so ये एकदम गलत बात है. What is usually the anyway. तो हाँ, क्या क्या क्वेश्चन है? मिस्टीरियस सोशलाइज्ड हिंदुत्व इज अ मॉडर्निस्ट मूवमेंट. इट इज, फॉर मी हिंदुत्व इज सोशल जस्टिस मूवमेंट. मतलब if you look at Abrahamic tyranny, for me, I know Neerajan is trying to stifle a smile, but ठीक है. For me, it has always been a social justice movement. कि Abrahamic oppression on tribals, and so we have more in common with tribes than with Christians and Muslims, right? As Hindus, matlab commonality hai. I'm not saying we are exactly like one or the other, right? So on a spectrum of from monotheistic fascism to, let's say, something akin to polytheism and animism and all that, we are closer to the polytheism, pantheism, animism aspect. So we are like that. So jaise Native Americans ke upar, when the British when the Europeans colonized them and destroyed their culture and built churches on top of their holy sites, so they have a right to strike back. So the same manner, non-Abrahamics have a right to strike back against Abrahamics if they destroyed their structures and lands and took over these things. ये तो simple बात है. If we look at that aspect, then Hindutva is technically a social justice and leftist movement. It is not at all a rightist movement in the sense in which it is called so. Okay. It is not like जैसे Western conservatism or Islamic conservatism works. So for me, it's always
Right.
been something else entirely. It's been a social justice movement always. So
Yeah.
and I think every Hindutva person in India, it's so rapidly evolved for a different reason, because we were trained to be leftists. We were trained to believe in social justice. फिर हमने, because of social media, we realized social justice is for everyone except Hindus. So then we started demanding कि Hindus को भी social justice दे दो. फिर that this is the result, that Modi is the result of the demand of social justice from the Indian state, which we did not get as per Anand Ranganathan. Not just as per, like there's a general feeling Anand Ranganathan did the right thing by writing a book about it, where he listed how we are eighth class citizens, right?
Yeah.
अच्छा. Computational statistic in nature or just word salad? पूरा word salad है, essay writing competition है. essay लिखो, oppressed, sad, दुख में हो, दर्द में हो, हम तेरे बिना अब रह नहीं सकते, ये सब लिख दो. बेकार का. और हाँ, और जेंडर खा लेता है, तुम्हारा जेंडर कितना ऑप्रेस्ड है, ये सब लिख दो बस. सोशियोलॉजी डन, पीएचडी कंप्लीटेड. स्टैनफोर्ड, हार्वर्ड, कैम्ब्रिज. ओ हाँ, मुस्लिम एंड दलित खतरे में है. हाँ. So
Okay. Okay then, Christoph Lies-a-lot, thank you for joining us. We'll get to the other people waiting now in the line.
अच्छा, एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ before I leave. I'll just say that I disagree with your predictions. I think 27 से ऊपर जाएगा. 20.
अच्छा.
It can touch close to 30. Anyway.
Okay. And what about Jadavpur?
Jadavpur, again, I agree with you. There's a chance that the left का chance, मतलब there'll be a competition between TMC and left. I have a, I think so. Mysterious socialist,
Here's one. Yeah.
Makes you head of the river. What will you do? Fire everyone? No, I can't. I will try to fund projects on a different way. Again, these will all be social justice projects, but they will be social justice projects based on issues that concern us and not against us, right? So yeah, that would be my strategy. Anyway, thanks. Yeah, nice hosting for 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chalo, milte हैं परसों.
Bye bye. We have Aaron Finn now. Is he still here? Hello, Aaron. I guess he waited too long. Okay, let's see if the other people are here. Who's next? Zenith. Is Zenith here?
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me? Microphone. My microphone is not that good. If it's audible, then let me know.
Yeah, it's audible.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Swamy Mundal. I have many questions for you, but the primary question I had is like, as a Bengali, how much society around you had changed during like the NDA 1 and NDA 2? Because I remember back in 2019 when I was like in 9th grade. From then only, like I had noticed like a huge change in myself. Like before, I just knew that Modi was bad. Like this is the thing that I like continuously kept hearing on, and I had a negative connotation to Modi. But then I used to watch those YouTube videos about like the bullet train project and like the several metro projects that were going on, and then I was like, okay, these things are happening more and more in the new government, and these were like delayed in the previous government, and this made me really from a somewhat of a lefty to of a non-left. But how about you though? How was your surrounding changing during the period of 2014 to 2024?
Surrounding, yeah. So since everyone has friends or relatives who are outside Bengal, who know that their lives are getting better, they are changing so many jobs and stuff, their salaries are going higher and higher outside Bengal. Nothing of that sort is happening in Bengal. So the amount of untouchability that was with the name Narendra Modi or BJP in Bengal, that has completely changed. A lot of it changed after 2021 post-poll violence. A lot of it changed again when Justice Abhijit Ganguly joined it. A lot of it changed when Mamata Banerjee criticized Ramakrishna Mission monks. So it's every day it's more and more in percentages about how Bengal sees BJP and Narendra Modi.
Also, I had a question about. Do you mind if I ask something about American politics opinion of you, which is related to
Yeah.
the Trump prosecution actually? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
So, did you hear about Trump getting convicted of all the charges he was accused of?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it? And do you think there is a bigger plot behind it? Like some are speculating that the Chinese lobby in US is influencing this. What do you think about
No.
it? Because I've been really curious about this.
Yeah, Trump cannot be afforded the position of presidency anymore, because he's going to put an end. He's going to prioritize a lot of pro-American things in the short term, which actually the bureaucratic establishment of USA has given up on. They have given up on America being that sort of a Judeo-Christian Anglo-Saxon white majority anymore. They think, yes, we fucked with feminism and antinatalism too long. Now that population is gone, now we can't wait anymore. On the other hand, our $34 trillion of debt is going out of hands, spiraling out of our hands. India is fast breathing down our necks. China and Russia is forever pissed off with us. We need to increase fracking and all sorts of manufacturing immediately, right fucking now, which we can't do without illegal immigrants. And that illegal immigration is going to be prevented by Donald Trump. So they are doing everything they can to prevent Donald Trump from coming to power. And as for the charges themselves, that's 32 counts of fraud. That 32 count is because of the 32 bundles of cash, I guess, he sent to that prostitute or to Stormy Daniels, which is a bogus charge anyway. And that hush money isn't even illegal in USA. If you were anybody other than Trump and you paid that same amount of hush money to Stormy Daniels, you would not be in jail today. So it's all made up bullshit cases. Plus, there are other discrepancies as well. His opponents, with I guess it's the judge or the attorney who's pursuing the case, they are all official donators of the Democratic Party. If you are donated to the opponent's party, you can't fight a case against them because that's conflict of interest. Every law in the book has been tweaked or modified or absolutely made up to protect to screw Trump, and that of course gives the Indian government or every country in the world in general leeway to criticize USA for the near future in terms of any illegality in their governance. USA can't say anything anymore because of the things they did to Trump. That ship has sailed. Okay, Zenith, any more things you need to discuss? Okay.
Yeah, I had a different actually view about this because I thought that Trump's like the scorched approach to China, that is why the Chinese lobby got angry, and the California governor, what is his name? The California governor, the who went to China to discuss climate change. Gavin Newsom, yeah. That guy is literally like a sneeze away from being a Chinese sleeper cell. Like, don't you think that the Democrats are concerned in any way about national security?
Yeah, they can't afford to care about national security because they are beholden to their donors. Their donors don't care whether they live in Dubai or Saudi Arabia or South Bombay. They don't need USA as a country or society to function. They just need laborers. So that's why they'll do whatever they want now.
And this is like a kind of segue into the same thing which kind of happened in 2008 when the Congress signed a MOU with CCP also.
Yeah.
Don't you think like Congress can be tied for treason for that? Because it's not the Indian government that signed the MOU with CCP. It was the Congress party. Don't you think we can somehow make that public, declassify that, and kind of expose them?
Yeah. If Trump can be sent to jail, anything can happen in the world in any civilized country in terms of law and order. But Narendra Modi doesn't want Rahul Gandhi behind prison, so that's why it will not happen.
Yeah. But yeah. Yes. The other question I had was that do you think that in the future Subhendu Adhikari will actually become the chief minister, or do you think it will be someone else?
No.
Will
I
it
think
be someone
Subhendu.
Subhendu?
If at all if it's not Subhendu, then I think it will be a huge mistake, and I don't think BJP leadership is going to make that kind of a mistake. That's why I think Subhendu will be CM.
But like in Bengal, there's one big sentimental thing that if there's a woman leader, everyone who is a woman will just blindly vote for them. Even my own grandmother voted for TMC because Mamata Banerjee is a female leader.
Yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. if the exit polls are correct, now that ship has also sailed. 22 plus if it goes for BJP, that means they don't care about the women CM anymore. So they are not, Bengal is not going to play with the woman card any time anymore, any soon in the near future.
Also, yeah, that's all I had to ask. Thank you, and
Okay.
I hope to see more meltdowns by Ravish Kumar and co in the future, in the next week. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And one other thing I personally wanted to mention is that you'll have to know how much the Democratic Party is in the pockets of unions as well. The unions who are also kind of in collaboration, in cahoots with the main corporate bosses. Those corporate bosses want illegal immigration. Now, a few months back, I think, when did Biden come to power? 4 years back, right? So sometime in the last 4 years, Joe Biden held a discussion of just EV manufacturers, electric vehicle manufacturers, and Joe Biden did not call Elon Musk to that to that summit, okay, or to that event. Guess why? Because all other EV manufacturers have unions in their companies, and the unions are a big time donor of the Democratic Party. Therefore, Joe Biden does not call to his EV discussion forum the man who has revolutionized EVs, Elon Musk, because Elon Musk does not allow unions. Now, what happens with unionization, with union bazi? Okay, what happened in India forever? In Tesla, if you are a mechanic, you can't form your own union, and therefore you apparently don't have that kind of negotiation power. Okay, but let's say you ask for 10 rupees from Elon Musk and you go home with 6 rupees as at the end of the negotiations. Okay, but you do go home with 6 rupees. What happens in the unionized car companies is that your union for you negotiates a salary of 8 or 9 rupees. Okay, instead of 6, in theory you get 8 or 9 rupees. Okay, great, but you go home with 5 rupees or 4 rupees because you have to give a large portion of your salary to the unions, to the lawyers of the unions, to the gigantic infrastructure, all the cars, drivers, offices of the unions that needs to be maintained. So in the end, you lose out on money if you are not in Tesla, and if you lose out on money if you have a union, in fact. Okay, next up in line is Rutvik. Hi Rutvik, are you still here? Maybe not.
Yes, I'm still here. Am I audible?
Yeah. Hi.
Just checking if I'm audible.
Yeah. It's audible.
It's nice to finally catch up, man. I've been a long time lurker on your channel.
Yeah.
So I never had the opportunity to get on my calls and like that. So yeah, so how have you been, man? It's nice to see you succeeding.
Thank you.
When I used to watch your channel, it was like 12, 13 people. I remember Leaner being there and a couple of other guys. And now it's taking off.
Yeah.
Happy for you,
you.
On that count.
Thank you.
Yeah. And on the topic, I actually wanted to. It would have been nice if Mysterious Solution was could be on this call. But there's one thing that I really want you guys to cover. It may happen offline, it may happen online. It can be a new format for your channel where you sit down and wiki things or try to connect things, create hypotheses and investigate them. So one thing I would want you guys to look into is assume we swap places with China. The thing that my little understanding about Chinese history is the century of revolution happens, and both their right wing, that's the Kuomintang, KMT, and CCP, both of them realize one thing, that the old world needs to die. The old world cannot continue. Okay. Now, in our history, it's a parallel history where we haven't reached that conclusion to some degree because both are so-called left wing and so-called right wing. They are not willing to throw out the baby with the bathwater. But it is also leading to it's like a Faustian deal. As what's the name of the economist? So Sobel, Thomas Sowell would put it, everything in life is trade-offs. Now it appears that we are in a situation where we can choose to keep things, we can choose to move forward, or we can choose to be focused on the present. And we can only choose two of these three things. China has chosen the present and the future. We seem to be stuck in the past and the future. We want to invest in AI, we want to invest in semiconductors, but we don't want to look into the problems of the present. We don't want to see that 500 billion people are absolutely useless. Sorry, for using that phrase, but it is what it is. 500 billion people are absolutely useless. So one of the things we could do is just look at Chinese history and see if there are any parallels. I think it would be an interesting episode or a series. Very
good idea. We'll have to think about it.
Yeah, because yeah, I guess that's about it. I know you are running late, so another time.
Yeah. Okay, Rutvik. Good idea, actually. He's saying we need to look at Chinese history and see if we can learn anything from them about how to balance our reconciliation with both the future and the past. Okay, next we have Rishabh. Hi, Rishabh. Are you still here?
Yes, hi. I'm still here. And yeah, I've recently discovered your channel. I'm a long time follower of right wing, or rather non-left stuff on YouTube. But yeah, I'm very excited to see that these voices are coming out of Bengal as well. So I am originally from Calcutta, but right now economic refugee, quote unquote, in Mumbai. And yeah, I actually was listening to the earlier conversations around, bringing back the joint family and so on and so forth. I just had an anecdote that I thought we could discuss a little bit about and you would find interesting. So I'm currently living with my girlfriend here, and we've both come to an understanding that after marriage, we are going to move back with my joint family back home in Calcutta. And the biggest reason for that is, in fact, the rising cost of living. So
exactly.
So my my entire hypothesis would be a loosely defined term for this, but my understanding rather is that in societies like ours, where there is still a memory of the benefits of the joint family, would it not be actually easier for us to revert to that as opposed to the West, where they have in a way romanticized the nuclear family? You even see, commentators like Ben Shapiro saying that the nuclear family is where it's at. But nuclear family only creates a situation where you're spending a lot more, saving a lot less, and you're completely dependent on, the state structure in your old age, which is not where we should be as a society. So I would love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's great, but at the moment it's not going to happen at all. Let's say, I would say most people in your situation would probably not go back to the place where they came from and where they have a joint family anymore, because I'm saying this only because you are from Kolkata, and maybe you are Bengali, maybe you're not. But since Kolkata always had that progressivism streak, therefore it's not coming off as something new to you. Therefore, you are okay with playing with the idea of going back. But someone who has just let go of his traditional streak in his family and is only finally going to pubs and clubs and sleeping around with 100 people, they are not going to go back to that life anymore. They think all this is their let's say freedom. Finally freedom. I'm not going back anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, that might be true. My second question, and it also answers your question, is I'm actually an Agarwal Marwadi from Calcutta. So very deeply interested in the economic revival of the city. I actually want to move back to, pay my taxes in Bengal and not in Maharashtra. But for that, I think Calcutta is one government change away from that, honestly. So would really love your views on how we not only change this government, which we have a good possibility of getting, but also of changing this image of Bengal which I see in outside of Bengal, which is not very positive. There's a negative image vis-a-vis the work culture in Bengal, like putting it very plainly. And this is going to be not just a governmental, or it's not just BJP aage aur ye sort ho jayega. You need to have a larger cultural mindset shift. How do we achieve that? And over here, I want to also distinguish from what I've understood from listening to your conversations with, say, the mysterious sociologists. This is a very Calcutta centric issue. It might not necessarily also translate to the hinterland, the rural areas of Bengal, but still Calcutta is the cultural center of Bengal. So how do we tackle that? And me as an ambassador over here in Mumbai, how do I give people confidence that hey, Bengal is something that you need to look out for?
Yeah, ये तो तुम्हारे हाथ में तो है नहीं. First and foremost is a new CM, new government and new law and order. एकदम योगी आदित्यनाथ की तरह काम करना है, डंडे मार के सारा लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इमीडिएटली ठीक करना है. वो 2-3 साल ठीक रहेगा, लोगों को बाहर इनके इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट को खबर मिलेगा कि यहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री अच्छे से हो रहा है, कोई तोलाबाजी नहीं हो रहा है. फिर उसके बाद इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आएंगे, फिर और भी मतलब इकोनॉमी ठीक होगा, बहुत पैसा आएगा लोगों के हाथ में, बहुत सारे वर्क ऑप्शंस मिलेंगे. फिर लोगों को लगेगा अच्छा हाँ काम करते हैं, सैलरी मिलता है, 12 बजे के बाद आने नहीं बोलते हैं सबको, इससे भी जिंदगी अच्छा चलता है. अच्छा तो चलो देखते हैं. वो कल्चरल चेंज लास्ट में आएगा. पहला शिफ्ट है लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, उसके बाद है इन्वेस्टमेंट, उसके बाद ह्यूमन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स का चेंज. Because at the moment the people in the state are not even used to this kind of a job. I mean most people have either been government job employees or have been political party gundas. That's the majority of West Bengal. So they don't even know what an honest day's work is. First they have to get used to this.
Right. Hopefully that change comes in. Lastly, I don't really have much else. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Lastly, I just want to say, just be safe. We know what's going to happen on election results day. I hope everyone's safe and sound and indoors on that day.
Yeah. Thank you, Rishabh.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Okay. Is Zenith still here? Are you still here, Zenith? Or is this a glitch?
Yes, I'm still here. Yeah. I was listening to the conversation around. So, yeah.
Did you have anything to add?
Oh, sure, actually. I'm actually a Mondal caste. Although I had a very interesting thing which I realized when I was growing up. So I noticed something that every time when how the caste system works, when the caste thing works in India, is that your father's caste, you just inherit your father's caste. Although this thing we took it from the British, and then the Congress just continues it. Do you think it's a good time to change this so that we finally get to the point the mother's caste will also be taken into consideration? Because the mother is a Khatri, but my father is a Mondal. And my father is actually divorced with my mother, so I should actually be Khatri, but I'm still a Mondal caste. So don't you think it makes sense that the father's caste should not be the default caste of the child?
Right. This is, I think, a very, very, very broad and deep question about morality and philosophy and the role of genders today, of course. First of all, if it's a legal question, then yes, I think you should be able to write any caste you want. But that, of course, can't work because you are going to ask for reservations as well. So as long as there are reservations, these things can't happen. As far as you getting your mother's caste instead of your father's caste, there a conversation might happen in the moral philosophic sense, in that since the stature of the father today is in terms of economic prosperity not as significant today as in the pre-industrialized era, therefore you may as well be taking your mother's caste name. Why not caste? But I don't think any kind of tweaking with with caste names or use of your caste is going to happen unless there are significant tweaks in the reservation system.
Well, I'm actually NRI, so I don't really mind changing my caste, and also my mother wouldn't. So when I left India, it was in the eve of board exam. So I actually did register myself as a SSC, but we left, so we didn't really have to give the board. I didn't have to give the board exam as SSC. Although I would say like once once you are designated like as a sole child of the mother, like then you really can't like keep the surname of surname of the father even then. But I have actually kept it because the courts, like the High Court, I was in Howrah High Court. I think the case was going on, divorce case, and they really did not allow us to like change the surname. But
I
that's a
see.
judicial thing actually. So yeah.
I see.
Also, you were talking about Kolkata, like how Kolkata's urban planning and stuff actually is messed up or not. But I think it is messed up because if you think about it, like even the widest roads like VIP Road, EM bypass, they're completely like blocked out every rush hour. Obviously, the metros have been under construction since I was growing up, and it will never end. But the true
for
solution
the
transit.
specific traffic jams and stuff, I don't blame anyone too much because everyone did those mistakes, right? When Salt Lake Sector 5 was made, when New York was made, when Los Angeles was made, when Mumbai was made, when Bengaluru was made, everyone was too short-sighted. So none of them made enough broad roads. So I don't blame them for this particular.
Salt Lake Sector 5 to New York, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Salt Lake Sector was made like with the sand being released into the East Kolkata wetlands. But I think the main thing is that you know how Kolkata has this weird shape. Like when it expands into east, you meet a dead end. There is the East Kolkata wetland, the Dhapa, where the Dhapa is. So what you have to do is shift the Dhapa to the Bangladesh border and clear all those villages so that you have a natural border where illegal immigrants don't come from, because they have to encounter this massive 100 square kilometers swamp. And plus, you also have a lot of new urban land, which is like beside the AM bypass, plus south of Newtown. Because Newtown also ends at the East Kolkata wetlands. So that is a solution that I was thinking of. But the thing is that if you think about the Kestavur Canal and Bagjola Canal, they all meet up in the East Kolkata wetlands. So if you temporarily like make it leveled and make it into a flat land, so all the waste which is going on into the wetlands, they will all now flood up, and the nalas will all be jammed, and it will all flood the arterial road, because that, like, Kolkata is a very rain sensitive area,
Right. It's a great idea. I think you should write something in or send some mails to the government of India only.
I'm actually studying civil engineering in Canada. And I also want to be an urban planner so that I can work with like some companies like Rice. Rice deals with this stuff. New areas or like transportation projects. I really want to work on these. So,
I think you should be in touch with Sandeep Sanyal, because Sandeep Sanyal has urban planning experience already. He worked in the urban planning department of Singapore, and now he has handled a lot of these smart city ideas as well. So I think you should take up his email ID from the EACPM website, and send him your ideas and say how much you can collaborate or want to contribute, etc. Or be in touch with his team at least.
And do you think that currently, if someone returns back to Kolkata, let's say 2026 election, Mamata wins, even then, do you think will it be safe to go back to West Bengal? Like, because I'm really looking forward to returning back home at least once to meet my friends and extended family.
Safety issue or monetarily, you mean?
Safety issue, because there have been a lot of cases like posting anti-TMC stuff and getting beaten up, and it's not even that uncommon anymore.
You just have to be not anti-TMC, then you'll be safe.
Like, because I've already posted a lot of anti-TMC stuff and I'm really afraid of that.
Then you are screwed. If everyone knows who you are and they know where you live, then there is a problem. Or you have to live in some other place.
Yeah, maybe in a gated community till.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to mention something. This is just a thing I wanted to say out, which is like, if you look into the Kolkata Leather Complex website, there is actually a very good chance I've found some sleeper cells, which is like if you look at the board director like group, there are 3 Chinese names and obviously 7 Bangladeshi, which is like they're Bengali Muslims, but I'm pretty sure they're Bangladeshi. I think they are there because of the political connections. But you should look into for once if you have any free time. Look into Kolkata Leather Complex website. You will actually find like very interesting names in the board of director name, like board of director people. You'll actually find them very interesting names.
Yeah, these problems are not going to be handled at the moment. This is a 10-year project.
Like national security is something which you should look before even economics. I think national security is directly interlinked with everything in your country. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really look after national security without taking economics into account first and foremost.
How do you debate Ambedkarites who claim to be Ambedkarite Buddhists, but will never acknowledge his views about how about like the situation with Muslims and how he actually views Savarkar's ideas, and like without any like without them having ad hominem spit on you? Like, how do you actually debate one of them? Because like as a Dalit myself, like they tell me that I'm a token Dalit. Like, you know how like I'm actually working as like caste traitors or something. You know, not a class traitor, class traitor. How do you debate these people? And I really want to show them like Ambedkar and Savarkar's views actually match up. They're not contradictory to each other. How do you debate one of them?
See, if they are annoying you, if they are not engaging with you properly, respectfully in a debate, you just have to annoy them back. So the best way to annoy them back is post screenshot or random quotes from Ambedkar here and there and run away from the debate. Just leave. You have to piss them off. If they are not interested in the debate, you're not going to be able to convince them to have a debate.
Yeah, this thing came out in the Lebrando subreddit. That is a shithole. I'll tell you bluntly. And United States of India.
You also use some names and leave that place. If no debate should happen at the cost of your time or money. If you're not getting paid for it, if people are not watching it, there's no point in debating these people unless they are friends of yours.
And lastly, last question I want to ask is, what ideology would you define yourself with? And I would define myself with neoliberal, but I thought you're a libertarian. So how would you define yourself?
A libertarian who thinks, a Hindu libertarian, of course, Hindu libertarian who thinks government should take care of life, liberty and property.
What do you think about then classical liberalism and neoliberalism? Because those are also free market, but also like social justice type.
I don't care for social justice based on the ancestral bad behavior or good behavior or innocent behavior. I think that slope is too slippery. We can't end at any point if we try to fix historical wrongs. So my opinion is just know of historical wrongs and forget them completely today.
Thank you.
Okay, Zenith, thank you for joining. Bye. Okay, now we are nearing the end of our live stream. We went for a long time today after a many a month. Nino is saying rest of West Bengal seems decent. Dada, will Kolkata go Bhagwa this election? No. Buddhists plus Hindus should deal with. Recently, I saw a video where a Buddhist monk took an Ambedkarite suit put. I see. Okay, Abhay is saying multi-generational families are important to give people a balanced perspective on life. Just living your aged people makes you and and that is what people don't understand when Ankit Shah talks about believing in one life versus believing in multiple lifetimes. That believing in multiple lifetimes doesn't mean that you have to actually literally believe in multiple lifetimes and only then good things happen to you. That is not the idea. The idea is that since Indians don't believe in one life, therefore we end up doing things which are beneficial for our descendants as well. Oftentimes we don't, even though we believe in multiple lifetimes, etc. But that's not the point. But what Abhay was saying here, that multiple intergenerational things have to be visible. Libertarians are idiots. Most of them, because they don't see the point of any culture anywhere. They live in an imaginary world. That's why maybe Dada race now. Can you do a special on the exit poll results? Anan is saying, can you please interview Roland Fryer on the effect of rap music on socioeconomic outcomes? Can introduce you. Okay. Who is Roland Fryer? Is he the guy who came on Patrick Bet-David podcast? Roland Fryer. Yeah, we discussed his live stream, no? Yeah, or we didn't end it. We started that live stream, and that's the day the commie came to debate. So yeah, it would be fun to discuss things with him, because he's, after all, in favor of affirmative action, but he is not in favor of all the craziness that is happening in the name of affirmative action. I don't know how to set those things apart, but yeah, it would be great if he comes on my podcast. Okay. Next, Anan is saying, can you do a special on just exit poll results? Maybe with mysterious sociologists, but that we were planning to do it mainly in Bengali. Let's see if we don't do it in Bengali. Can you read my comment on Omendra Ratnu, since I can't spam? No, you can spam if you don't see your question getting answered. I can't see what was your previous question. Okay, Lokavya, let's see. No, I can't see any question about Omendra Ratnu. Okay, I speak Bengali, so that would be good. 43% ST vote BJP, 49% SC vote BJP. Will you do live with mysterious sociologist on June? Yeah, he will probably join for a while. I'll be online for much longer, if weather and all stays the same. Bangoputra is saying, we need more fence-sitting commies debating non-lefts to bring up good discussion that will convince centrists to turn right. Okay, Nina is saying, will you? Oh yeah, ye to ho gaya. Dada, I'm Shastri saying, Dada, what is your thoughts on exit polls? Exit polls are, I think, pretty accurate. It's in line with whatever I thought was going to happen. Rishabh is saying, one more question. Okay, next day we'll do it. And 72% Muslims voted Congress. Okay, Khan Market will go Bhagwa before Kolkata. I agree here. Okay then, guys, thank you for joining the live stream. We end our live stream now. Bye bye. Good night.
श्रवरूढं महाभीमं गुणाद्रष्टाङ्गरप्रदम् अस्य युक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्णिकाकरां मुक्तकेशीं ललज्जयः पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् काली काली महाकाली कालिके पापहारिणी धर्मर्थ मोक्ष देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते धर्मर्थ मोक्ष देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते काली 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 काली